Good evening. Welcome to a special edition of Make We Talk. This evening, we're going to speak about Jamaica's gun amnesty. Is it going to help solve our crime situation in Jamaica? This evening, I have with me Michael Williams, Mr. Michael Williams, chairman of the National Democratic Movement, Dr. Rupert Francis, head of the Jamaican Diaspora Crime Investigation Task Force, Wilfred Rattigan, attorney at law and former FBI agent, and we're waiting on senior journalist Dudley Thompson from Roots FM to come on. Good evening, gentlemen. Unmute your mic for me, please. And your cameras.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Michael Williams, rather. Mr. Michael Williams. Welcome to a special edition of Make We Talk this evening, sir. We're going to speak about Jamaica's gun amnesty. What is your views on it, Mr. Williams?
The gun amnesty will help law-abiding citizens. What I mean is, may have an illegal firearm, one manner, for instance.
Go ahead, Mr. Williams. Go ahead, please, sir.
A person might have died in their family, and the family had the gun, and they didn't have the gun. They didn't turn in the gun, and if they had turned in the gun, they possibly could have been charged.
Right.
But this amnesty from the 5th of November to the 19th of November will allow those persons, law-abiding citizens, to turn in their firearms. I doubt, I can almost put my head on the block that the illegal gun will never be turned in if the person is not a law-abiding citizen, right? So I really don't see the rationale behind it, except if the Minister of National Security may feel that there are law-abiding citizens out there with illegal firearms, and that this is a good opportunity for them to turn it in. So from that respect, it might be good. But as far as solving the crime problem in Jamaica, they are way off. They're not on this field. They're not on the right field. They may be playing a game, but they go to the wrong place to play.
Yes.
They're way off base, way off base.
Dr. Rupert Francis, your views on it, sir. Do you think that the gun amnesty will solve Jamaica's crime problems, sir? Unmute your mic for me, Dr. Francis.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Good to be on the board with Brother Rattigan and Brother Williams. The fact of the matter is that I do not believe that this is going to even affect it in any way, shape, or form. If you're talking about bringing in guns and, for example, being paid for them, remember we have looked at that issue before, and you pay them for the old guns they might bring in and what have you. And what do they do with the money? They take it and buy new guns. So as far as I'm concerned, this is just like a drop in the bucket. This is not gonna, or a band-aid. It's not gonna solve anything as far as I'm concerned. When I'm looking at it from that perspective, yes, there'll be a few guns off the table, but the fact of the matter is also one of the things that we have to look at is that these people seem to have unlimited supply of guns everywhere, and law-abiding citizens cannot even get firearm licenses. I know of so many instances where there are people who are competent, ex-soldiers, ex-policemen, right, of good repute, and they can look for their record and they cannot get, for years they've been waiting for a firearm. These are men who have been trained, spent 20, 10, 15, 20, 30 years in the military and cannot get firearms. So I'm a little bit ashamed to know that my good friends are, like, for example, in charge of the whole firearm situation, and people who they should know cannot get firearms. And so to me, a gun amnesty is like, you know, come on, what are you doing? Is it a sideshow or something? No, I believe that they have to have more comprehensive and systematic ways of dealing with the crime problem. And that certainly is not one of them as far as I'm concerned.
Mr. Rattigan, what do you think about Jamaica's doing a gun amnesty, sir?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear from Negril Point to Moran Point and also Waterhouse.
All right, I'm driving, so bear with me.
Yes, sir.
But it's nonsensical as far as addressing the crime issue, because like Michael said, and I will remind listeners that the Minister of National Security came on nationwide radio about 2 days ago, and he gave an interview regarding this particular issue, and it was abundantly clear that the primary focus of this amnesty bill, this proposed amnesty bill, is, as Michael said, people who have inherited weapons or who had a licensed weapon, but they didn't renew it, and so it just sit in a closet someplace. This is not designed to catch criminals, and there are several issues with this proposed amnesty bill. And if you listen to the Prime Minister, the way he describes it, and you compare and contrast his views with the views of the Minister of National Security, they're divergent. They're completely divergent in tone, in tenor, in meaning, in interpretation, in everything. Because the Prime Minister seems to, he gives the impression that this is an initiative that's aimed at getting illegal weapons off the street. When you listen to what the Minister of National Security says, it sounds like he's saying if your grandfather left you a weapon and it's in a closet someplace, you don't have a license for it, then you need to come in and you need to turn that weapon in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the idea is to take guns off the street, that's guns in the closet. Those guns, I assure you, those guns are not responsible, or in the main, they're not responsible for the killings going on in Jamaica. Now, further to that point, the Minister of National Security mentioned that the amnesty that he's proposing, and he said this several weeks ago, that it worked in Australia and it worked in South Africa. Now, people, do not be misled by these ignorant statements. I lived in South Africa. I'm still in contact with people in South Africa. I know people in Australia, and I'm talking about law enforcement personnel. What he's proposing is something completely different. First of all, it didn't work in South Africa. So when he's citing South Africa as an example where it worked, he's dead wrong. And Australia, their amnesty is something different. It's not a 2-week amnesty. It's an ongoing amnesty. It's different from what they're proposing in Jamaica. And then the question is, okay, so somebody's going to turn in a weapon, and when they do the ballistics on it, it's going to show, for example, that murders were committed using this weapon. What do you do then? Do you arrest the person involved? And that question was posed to the minister, and his answer was, well, their attorneys can turn the weapons in. And then when he was further pressed, okay, so now the attorney has turned in the weapon, and you find that there are murders attached to this weapon. What do you do? And his response was, well, we'll do our investigation, and then we'll find out who the person is, and then we'll grant them leniency so that they can tell us, where the weapon came from, so we can track and trace and arrest the party who's responsible for bringing the gun or selling the gun to this person in the first place. I mean, when you listen to the illogic, you realize that this thing is destined for failure before it's even started, because they cannot get the thoughts together. This thing is ill-conceived, and it's destined for failure. I have a lot more to say, but I'll yield for now to the rest of the panel.
Yes, but you know something, Dr. Francis, and I'm gonna go to Mr. Williams in just a moment. But Dr. Francis, your take on the idea of, to me, maybe I'm wrong, but I think this is the only crime plan that the government has, because if you're gonna ask for a gun amnesty. It's all good and done to ask for a gun amnesty. But if the borders around Jamaica is not protected, it doesn't make any sense to have a gun amnesty.
Look, as I said before, brother, as I said before, this is a band-aid. This is not a solution. Certainly, there are other issues. I was just listening the other day, how effective CTOC was in bringing in guns. I said, effective how? And you're having 8 to 10 murders almost per day, right? I mean, I saw a murder today. I couldn't believe it's the worst I've ever seen in my life. Okay, right in, I mean, I don't know if it was today or whenever, but they shot a little child and the child's eye was still open. She didn't even know what hit her. You understand me? And this is the sort of thing that is happening. And they are not doing anything about it. Not at all. I mean, yes, the police are out, the CTOC is out there and what have you, doing what they're doing. But that is not where the problem is. Okay? The problem is, yes, you mentioned one, open borders. The problem is the organizations, and not gangs I'm talking about. The people who are really behind the murders, and for what? Who is gaining, right? Where are these things coming from? Who is financing them? Who is pushing them? It's not just these young boys. They are just the tools with which they are working with. The question is how we're going to...
But Dr. Francis, one may ask the question, what about the amount of money? And even before we go there, the question that we may ask, that we have to ask ourselves, we have elected a government to protect the people, and I keep on saying this. If you have a government who can't protect its people, then something is fundamentally wrong in the government of the country. And if you have a government who has been getting donor funds, billions of Jamaican dollars a year, I am reliably informed this morning that the member of the JCF who was brutally gunned down in front of the police station never have on a ballistic vest because he wasn't assigned one, because they don't have any. So they're talking about gun amnesty. Are they giving the police the tool to work with?
Well, that is one of the largest problems we have. Now, look at it this way. Many policemen, I said it the other day, do not have a firearm to take home with them, and they live in volatile communities, right? And that policeman that was going around right in front of a police station, these people are brazen, and they will do anything. And the fact of the matter is the laws have no teeth, because, you're talking about no, for example, no hanging in Jamaica, and yet you can kill a person in the most heinous fashion and get away with it. Come on, where is our conscience? Anyway, we better ask Mr. Williams.
Yes, I'm gonna switch to
the situation, because it is so heinous that I can't even believe that these people are Jamaicans like myself, or they love Jamaica. Honestly, straight up.
Mr. Chairman of the National Democratic Movement, Mr. Michael Williams, your take on the idea of they having an amnesty, yes, but the borders are not protected. Don't you think they should try to protect the borders at the same time they try and have the gun amnesty?
I want to just say something here that you might find helpful.
Go ahead.
What you believe, government of Jamaica, successive government of Jamaica, is there to do, is totally different from what their intentions to do. And that is why we all get misled all the time. We have gone from a system of Anansi to a system of Alibaba.
Yes, sir.
And those of us who understand Jamaican parlance, Anansi was a general. We now have adopted the Anansi version of Alibaba. We have in our parliament a parliament of Alibaba.
Alibaba's on the 40 thief?
That is correct. That is correct. You know your answer, Rhyme. No.
Mr. Williams, before you go any further, sir, is it there any way we could have a little bit more light behind, because we can hardly see you?
Oh,
I know you don't like the whole Zoom thing, but we have to have, you know, our viewers want to see you, sir. You're the chairman of the Jamaica's third political party that went a far away, you know, sir.
Yeah.
So see what they can see on CV, and they must can see and make we talk.
All right. Okay. Well, let me. Is this any better?
Very much better. Go ahead now, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So we have, when we were getting independence, the Norman Manley was premier at the time, and he set up a committee to transfer the power from England to Jamaica.
Right.
That committee was made up of a lawyer by the name of David Core.
The late David Core.
Honorable David Core. I always swallow hard when I use the word honorable to for any of these people. Right? So, pardon me if I misstep a little bit.
Go ahead.
But Mr. David Core was asked by another senator in the Senate at the time, Leslie Ashenheim, why is it that the people of Jamaica are not sovereign? And his answer was this, and I'm quoting him word for word: to give the people justiciable rights would delegate from the sovereignty of Parliament.
So in other words, he's saying he can't give the people the fundamental rights that they need, or they should get.
No, what he is saying further is that we are transferring the power from the Queen of England to the sovereignty of Parliament. At that time, Parliament had 50 members. So it was transferred to 50 members. Now it is 63 members. 63.
Right.
So Parliament is sovereign in Jamaica, not the people.
Okay.
The first thing you need to understand is that now there is no separation of powers in Jamaica, because whatever the cabinet says, the Parliament will do, because the majority always rule. In England, for instance, you have a parliament of 600 and odd persons, and maybe 30 of them make up the cabinet. In Jamaica, you have a majority of 47 now, and 30 of them make up the executive.
So what are you driving at, Mr. Williams? Is that
I'm trying to tell you that what you think is good for Jamaica is not what the parliamentarians or the leader of the country think is good for him.
So in other words,
he's king.
In other words, you're saying that they're putting out a gun amnesty. They think it is good, but you're saying it is not really good for the country in a sense.
No. I am using the gun amnesty as one instance.
Right.
To let you know that what you think about the gun amnesty and what the leadership of the country think about the gun amnesty, it is not the same thing. They have their own agenda. I'm going to give you a different example. I'm trying to use these examples to let you know that both the GLP and the PNP, I call them GLPNP, is one party in this country. And they have killed every other opportunity for every other party to come up and rise up. Right? Unless we get NDM gets external funding to push the policies and the programs that is good for Jamaica, we will never get anywhere. But I want you to understand, and your listeners to understand, that what the JLPNP do in Parliament is only good for their party and themselves. It's not good for the country. And that is why all of these issues that come up, for instance, I've been fighting for 40 years with the leader, with the Labour Party, to institute early childhood education as a compulsory subject. Because today in 2022, right? I don't want to go off subject. Let me
Please.
use the police force. Crime is our biggest problem in Jamaica. The police force is only 14,000 members strong. We should have 25,000 members for a population of 3 million people. We should have 25,000 members. We have 14,000. And there is no effort by the present administration to boost the police force to accept to apply to the lowest denomination level to join the police force. So they deliberately kept the salaries of the policemen low so that no university graduate would ever leave the university and go to the police force because they are totally underpaid.
Gentle people, we're faced with a problem in this country. And Mr. Williams, the question that I have asked you is, do you think that they, I've lost Mr. Rattigan, that they are having a gun amnesty? Yes, they're trying to endeavor best to solve the problem in Jamaica. But if they cannot solve our borders, that where the guns are coming in, do you believe that having a gun amnesty will really help Jamaica's crime problem?
No. The answer to that is no. But what I'm trying to say to you is that all of these things that they are doing is just to pass the wool over people like you and I to let them think that they're doing something, but they're not doing anything. We have a Caribbean Sea border. We got the previous PNP government got 40 boats donated to them by the US government, 40 boats. They got all at once. And in 3 years, the boats were disabled under the PNP government.
Because the two political parties, when they're in government, they do not believe in servicing vehicles or servicing government state entities, They believe in just getting money and waste it.
Let me tell you this. You think our health service is bad in Jamaica? I just want to show you another point. The previous government passed a rule when Michael Manley was having his sickness. They passed a rule in Parliament that all MPs and senators get an insurance policy from, at the time it was Blue Cross. Now it is owned, Blue Cross is owned by Sagicor. That anytime they get sick, they can go on a plane with air ambulance to any country in North America, Canada, or England, and get
while the people of Jamaica suffer. Let's not go. Let's not stray to the health sector. Let us keep to the amnesty.
I started to tell you about the police force.
Mm-hmm.
The police force has 14,000 members, and in that membership, they have the red seam, the blue seam, and in that 14,000, there's red seam, there's blue seam, where there's no more blue seam because Bunting, to raise the level of the police force from 8,000 to 10,000, he counted the blue seam and made them blue seam.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So, all right. So you're gone from 8 to 10, and then they add in all the district constables and carry it up to 14. That is our police force. And we have security guards, the Association of Security Guards in this country, number 27,000.
And the police force is only 14,000?
Police force is only 14, and they don't count 14 because red seam is a different thing than blue seam. And blue seam is different from district constable
yesterday, I'm going to find a clip. Mr. Rattigan, unmute your mic for me. I'm going to find a clip that I send to Wilfred Rattigan, former FBI agent, the son of the soil. He come from Waterhouse. Mr. Rattigan, what is going on in our country? And what I'm going to play now, I hope I don't disrupt this broadcast here. What I'm going to play now, I do not know if our good friend, the chairman of the National Democratic Movement, had heard this. But I want you all to listen to the barrage of gunshot that I heard. And I don't think the JCF rather, have this type of weapon. It sounds as if when Vladimir Putin sending a gunshot over Ukraine. Want you to all listen to this? When I heard it, I said, no, man, this sounds like firecracker. The person who sent it to me said, no, Mr. Tavares. At 4 o'clock this morning, I think it was Walton Park Road. Yeah, no, Windward Road rather. A barrage of gunshot went on between the JDF, the JCF, and gunmen. Now tell me something now, Mr. Rattigan. You're a former FBI agent. If you hear those gunshots and you don't have those type of weapons, what would you say to the leaders?
I'm laughing, but it's not funny. This is more than the amnesty issue. This goes to leadership, and I stand open to being corrected, but I think that the JCF is numbering around 12,000 right now, not 14, as Michael said, and I got that from JCF itself. They're saying that they need around 14 to 16,000 personnel to effectively arrest the crime problem, and so they're way short. In fact, they had this crime, the name escapes me now, but they did it back in 2020, just before the election. Public sector and government opposition, faith-based organizations, civic-minded groups, and so on and so forth. They come up with a plan to deal with crime in Jamaica. And one of the plans was to get the force to 14,000. It's not there. It's still at around 12,000 right now. And that's why they're heavily recruiting. But to get back to the issue, it's leadership. It's leadership. And if you have managers and you have leaders. We don't have leaders in positions of authority in Jamaica. We don't have them neither. We have them neither at the ministerial level nor at the police force level. We don't have leaders. They don't have foresight. They're bankrupt. They don't have any ideas. If this is the best you can do to tell the Jamaican people that we're going to address the crime issue by coming up with a gun amnesty plan. And by the way, we don't even know if they're going to pay for these guns. That I haven't heard that. I heard at one point that they were going to, but it was going to be a buyback program. Then all of a sudden, the buyback piece just, we stopped hearing about it. So I don't know if they're going to buy these guns back. But be that as it may, this is not going to work. This is dead in the water. The idea that you're going to have gunmen turn in weapons and face criminal consequences if the ballistic evidence shows that the guns were used to commit violent crimes, shootings. It's not going to happen. And again, this is just further evidence that we need to get rid of the people who are in charge of the law enforcement sector in Jamaica. We really do, because they have no clue, no idea what they're doing. They don't have the training, they don't have the passion, they don't have the know-how, they don't have the skill set, they don't have they don't have anything. They were just placed there and left to fend for the country. And I'm telling you, the country is in bad shape, and it is going to get worse. Now, as an aside, I recently heard the Prime Minister in a speech, and it had to do with the people who were forcibly removed or whose homes were demolished. And at the end of the speech, he said, this is about his legacy. And he choked up. And I don't know if it was real or contrived or genuine or disingenuous. I don't know, but he appeared to be choking up. And he said he cares about his legacy because he wants to leave Jamaica in a better position than, in terms of governance, than he took over. No, that is a speech from a failed leader. A leader does not talk about a legacy. You leave that to the historians. You let people come after you right and say he was a good man or a bad man. If you're in your 6th year of leadership and you're talking about legacy and you have a rising crime rate and you have no idea how to fight it, and you're talking about legacy? No, man. Here's how you deal with legacy. When you take the reins of a country over, you do the right thing. You provide service delivery to the people. You take care of crime. You control the economy. You do all of these things. You never have to worry about your legacy, because your legacy is not your concern. That's the concern of people coming after you who's going to write and say, he did a good job or he did a poor job, right? And the way you address your legacy is to do the right thing. You do what's in the best interest of the country. Michael just said that, these politicians, you're doing what's in their best interest, not necessarily what's in the best interest of the country. And therein lies the problem.
Thank you for listening, my brother. Thank you for listening. Because I have been telling people this for a long time and few people listen. There is a mentality in the JLPNP that it is me, myself, and I. And I have had this speech 100 times, and nobody asked me what me, myself, and I mean, but I will tell you what it means. And you can figure it out for yourself if I am telling a lie by listening to what the politicians do and what they say. There's two different things, right? Me is me. I'm looking after me. Myself is my family and close friends. And I is my party, Jamaica Come Forth. Right? That is what me, myself, and I mean. That is what the JLPNP have been practicing for 76 years in this country. Because don't believe that we got independence in 1962, but we started from 1944 to rule ourselves. And when you think of the education system in Jamaica, the health service, and the crime problem, the three most important things, all of them are last on the agenda. The bulletproof vest should be a standard issue for every policeman, yet still they can find $50 million to try to build a new parliament in the park of Jamaica, because that is what Her Holiness said. The first time I hear him talk about legacy is when I hear him say I'm going to put $50 million because that is going to be his legacy. Second time he used it when he bulldozed the people at Bernard Lodge. He's always thinking about himself and his legacy, not about the people of Jamaica. That is what is a message that I have to tell everybody. If you want a change in this country, you have to change the JLPNP, because they are not interested in Jamaica. They are only interested in themselves. And I can use another example. In Parliament just recently, Julian Robinson, the PNP, was in charge of the committee that the Integrity Commission appeared in front of. And Greg Christie said to them, you have given us the commission, but you have gagged us. When we are investigating somebody, we cannot even say we are investigating that person. We are totally gagged. And Julian Robinson, who was the chairman, said in effect that you must stay gagged. We don't want to know who you're investigating. The country don't want to know.
They don't want to know what we want to know.
Yeah, but we don't want to know because nobody, no media or anybody except the NDM has objected to that. No.
You know, Mr. Williams.
Let me just tell you one thing. It is a criminal offense not to submit your integrity statement late. And the Prime Minister of Jamaica has submitted 3 statements. 2 of them was late by months, and nothing has happened to him, right? And it is a criminal offense, it's a fraud, right? But the reason why, and the last one he submitted was on time, but up to now, it cannot be clarified because he has registered all his companies in St. Lucia. The Prime Minister of Jamaica has registered his companies in St. Lucia. And I raised it on radio, and everybody quiet about it. And I'm saying it is legal. And I say, yes, it is legal, but it is immoral to have a Prime Minister of Jamaica running us down to pay our taxes. And he's evading taxes by registering company in St. Lucia. That is the epitome of fraud.
Let us not, hold on, Mr. Williams. Let us not drift
from the point.
Yes.
Yeah, discuss your point that it is a stupidness to have the amnesty. What we need to do is look at the police force. You know what Horace Chang said to Rupert Francis some time ago?
I remember.
We don't want your expertise. Send the money.
And that's a question that we need to ask now. If the American government, I'm going to come to senior journalist Dudley Thompson, who just joined us from Roots FM. If the American government send billions of dollars in Jamaican, in US currency is million, in Jamaican currency is billions of dollars, to help fight crime in Jamaica, to the JCF, Mr. Rattigan can help me on this one. And the JCF doesn't have ballistic vests, don't have no proper police car, and no gun or nothing. Mr. Rattigan, can you come into this one, sir?
Yes, most certainly. The government the government had intentions of spending $1.2 billion US to fight crime in Jamaica, beginning with fiscal year 2016 all the way to 2022, 2023, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're losing you because you're going in and out though. We'll continue.
Hold on a second. I'm in a dead zone here, man.
All right. Sort yourself out. Let I introduce Dudley Thompson from Roots FM. Mr. Rattigan? All right. Dudley from Roots FM.
No.
Yes, let I mute you, Mr. Rattigan, until you get in a very good plan. Mr. Thompson from Roots FM, welcome to Make We Talk, sir. Could you put on your camera for me, sir? That people can know is you are talking to. We're not talking to no duppy around here. Yes, sir. Welcome to Make We Talk, sir. Your views on the whole gun amnesty. We're live on Make We Talk. Your views on the whole gun amnesty. What is your views on it? Do you believe that this gun amnesty will help Jamaica's crime problem, sir?
No.
Being a journalist?
No. Good night to you on the panel. Absolutely not.
So why is absolutely not?
Reason being, there is a clause in that amnesty where if the gun is involved in any sort of shooting or activity, that the person who bring that gun will not enjoy the amnesty. With high Jamaican shooting away and crime rate in Jamaica right now. I'm not seeing someone is the holder of an illegal firearm, not knowing what activity that gun is involved in. And the person can risk bringing that gun and then be charged for a crime. So I'm not seeing amnesty working at all, because based on the fact that they said if the gun is involved in any criminal activity based on ballistic tests, the person will not enjoy the amnesty. So and again, secondly, most criminals use their illegal firearm to protect their turf. For instance, if say community A or community B and they're nearby, if community A realize to be giving their gun, there'll be an invasion. Community don't want to be weakened into a firepower. So I'm not seeing this amnesty working at all. Not going to work.
So do you roots of them is in a inner city area, and majority of the time, you're having problems getting to work and so forth. So you tell me now, Mr. Thompson, what is going on in the inner city? Do you believe that the people within the inner city is in agreement with what is going on, what the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security is trying to say?
Well, persons agree or disagree. Give me 1 second.
Well, we're talking to Dudley Thompson from Roots 96.1. Yes, Mr. Thompson.
Yes, persons agree and disagree based on their political allegiance. And the persons there who are not, having a political affiliation, in my book, they don't agree. Because again, it's amnesty to me is a total waste of time. I'm
in
not
other words,
expecting to see any mass handing over of illegal guns to the authorities. I'm not expecting that. What you might find, if there was a cash reward to bring in the gun, that may have a little impact.
But you're giving them, but Mr. Thompson, aren't you gonna give them money to go back and buy a gun?
That's a problem too. And the part about it now, if Jamaica don't manufacture guns in this country, and the supplier are the ones who they sort of target. Not like a man over one legal gun on the street. The supplier, if a gang farm in Jamaica, and his gang members know where they can go and purchase guns. First, who are in a gun wholesale, illegal gun selling, those are the ones they should target. And then if these persons are making money from the underworld, I'm not seeing those persons turn in their illegal guns because they're making money in the underworld. And for them, it's an income. So I'm just not seeing those persons get to myself, hey, here are my guns, so I'm not clean. No, it's not going to happen.
Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Williams, Michael Williams from the National Democratic Movement. What is your suggestion to the government of Jamaica now?
As far as the crime is concerned,
Yes.
4 years ago, I was at a seminar. Captain Francis was there also, where the Commissioner of Police said that he needed 4,000 more men to really and truly fight the crime. He has not gotten them yet. And the reason why he has not gotten them is that although they recruit about 1,000 every year, a lot of the people that apply to the police force and join the police force get into all sorts of problems, and they lose about 50% of those every year. So you have, it is like a sieve. And
Well-
his target, because they cannot recruit university students to join the police force and focus on forensic, intelligence, telecommunications, right? And those sort of high-end issues. And because they don't have a good forensic system in Jamaica, they keep losing good men from the force. About 9 months ago, a sergeant in the police force working in ballistics developed a brand new formula which he patented himself to identify guns using the barrel of the gun and a bullet. And as he painted the thing and announced it to the world and the Jamaicans, that he had developed this system and it was used once in Jamaica. You know what happened? Job from the United States government. And him gone. Him gone. I'm gone with him patent. Because we are not to pay our men and women in the police force properly. And that is a distinct reason why the government of Jamaica keep the police where it is.
We're gonna have
Understand that.
Mr. Williams, we're gonna have Mr. Rattigan come in now. Mr. Rattigan, you were saying something, sir?
Yeah, Michael is right. They have a recruitment and retention problem. But it's compounded by the fact that they don't have a crime plan. How you fight crime without a plan? I never heard of this thing. The South African Police Service then put out to them crime plan like many other police services. It's online, so citizens can actually see what the plan is to address the crime issue and what role they play in it. Right? In addition to what they do at the local level, at the national level, it's there. But you don't have a crime plan. You have a recruitment and retention issue. You have a remuneration issue. You have a resource issue. You have issue on top of issue on top of issue on top of issue. So we're doomed. I'm telling you, we're doomed. And going back to the question about the financing, last year February, Minister Chang announced about his 1.2 billion budget to fight crime, saying that it started back in 2016 and would end in next year, 2023. And then he made another statement saying that they had used some of the money to address COVID issues. No, I don't know what's going on here if them take people for idiot. Because IDB, World Bank, and IMF gave Jamaica loans totaling about $730 million for COVID. Plus, in March of this year, they received more money from the US government through Kamala Harris, the VP. And she also gave Jamaica $10 million for the police to help fight crime. The question I have is, where is all of that money? Where is the money? And if you have all of that money, don't tell me you can buy bulletproof vests, bulletproof helmets, pepper spray, collapsible baton, vehicles, you can firearms for the police, that you can't properly remunerate them, that you cannot give them good working conditions, that you cannot give them a crime plan. For crying out loud.
And that is why, Mr. Rattigan, we have a journalist here. Does Mr. Thompson, do they investigate journalists in Jamaica anymore? Journalism in Jamaica anymore?
Yes, some, but what up now? I got to realize now, sometimes that journalist issue now is the media owners.
Oh.
It's the problem. You know, the journalists who work on the ground, the bosses are the problem. When the bosses are politically connected, that's a problem. That's a real issue. Cause you might have a story as my boss, or the boss said, no, leave it alone.
So in other words, would you say that majority of the media houses in Jamaica is in the back pocket of politicians? Mr. Thompson?
I wouldn't say majority. No, I wouldn't say majority. I would say some. You have some of the media owned by political affiliates. And you have some journalists, yes, they use their work to push their political agenda. Because surprisingly, I was at a media conference in North Coast about 3 years ago. And I was shocked when I heard journalists saying that when they're writing their stories, they push their political agenda. I was shocked when I heard that so that's a part.
This should not be
to rub the people the wrong way. Your bosses said, no, leave that story alone.
Okay. Mr. Francis, then Mr. Francis, then Wilfred Rattigan. Go ahead, Mr. Francis.
I just want to say that that is one of the biggest issues, is that nobody can tell the truth. Everybody has taken a side, and they have forgotten Jamaica. And the most important thing that I can say to you, that what Mr. Rattigan is saying, if you can't pay and will not pay the police, then who are you going to pay? The criminals? Because what are you going to do? If the police cannot live somewhere, they cannot exist, they're under fire, both on the job and off the job, and you do not take care of them, what is going to happen? It's like the teachers. You understand? The same thing. We have to find a way to fund the police, give them the tool, and train them in every aspect how to be. You want them to be more humanitarian? Well, train them that way. Teach them how to, and we have offered them. We in the diaspora have offered them this training for free for years, and they will not take it from people who know this thing. What are they afraid of? It's as if they do not want to solve crime, and that is so sad, really so sad. When the majority of people are dying are poor persons who cannot defend, in marginalized communities, who cannot defend themselves. And then we have developed a culture where some of the people are defending the and so on. And when you catch them and what have you, they're the ones who the outcries against, not the good persons. So let me tell you something. We have a very serious problem in Jamaica. And if we do not, we are going to destroy our beautiful country. We are lucky we have not completely done that already. Very, very lucky, as far as I'm concerned. So I am imploring.
Go
ahead.
Well, I'm longing for the day when a member of the JCF will be put in charge of the JDF. Because we've seen that experiment, the JDF experiment in the JCF, we've seen it 3 times. 3 failures, but this one now is a colossal failure. When you have 92% of people polled in Jamaica telling you that they don't have any faith and any confidence, in fact, they've disapproved of the work that the police commissioner is doing, that should be a clarion call for the Prime Minister to say, pack your things and go. You cannot have somebody in whom the public has no faith and confidence and trust in. And yet, he stood up a few days ago and said that, he saw, when I say he, I'm talking about the police commissioner. He said he saw a survey that said that the communities, they trust the police and they have a very good relationship with the police. It's just that individual policemen might have issues with the community. So I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. If he's giving validity to that poll, then he's also making the point that he's doing a good job because he's in charge of the police, right? And if the police and the communities are, hand in glove and they're lockstep and everything is fine, then that's okay. Why didn't he refer to the 92% disapproval poll? He's referring to this one, but he's not referring to the other one. And we now know that even the high command, there is dissension in the ranks. There are people who have lost faith, trust, confidence, hope, everything in this police commissioner. He has to go. He's part of the problem. He's not part of the solution. And who's saying that? Not just me. 92% of the people polled. 92% of the people, they're saying that. And as for the Minister of National Security, 93% of the people polled said this man should go home, in essence, because he's not serving Jamaica well at all. In fact, they're doing a very good job at failing, both of them. And so no matter how much we discuss amnesty, SOZO, SOE, you name it, at the end of the day, if you don't have good leadership, the policies will not be implemented. Cannot be implemented because they have to, the policies must cascade, right? And if you have your subordinates who don't have any faith and trust and confidence in you to carry out your plan, the plan for Jamaica, then what's the point of having this? What's the point of having these people there? They're collecting taxpayers' money and they're doing nothing. And the taxpayers have disapproved of them. Resoundingly, they disapprove of them. And here it is that we're discussing amnesty. Think about it. Is this the best we can do? Amnesty? Amnesty. No, man. Come on. No. Jamaican people need to wake up. We need to wake up because what's going on is absolute poppycock. Foolishness, nonsense. Go ahead, sir.
In other words, Mr. Rattigan, we have dumb leading dumb.
Well, you said it.
Jamaica has reached a point. Let me start, because you see me.
Who have misunderstood, my friend. Your agenda is not their agenda. You have to understand their agenda.
Yeah,
you are the one who misunderstood. I agree with everything that Mr. Rattigan said, except when you move this commissioner, have you looked at the history of the last 5 commissioners that we have had under the GLP and the PNP? Everywhere, whenever a party is lose power, no matter what is the time on the contract for the commissioner of police, the Police Services Commission pay off that commissioner, give him full retirement benefits plus his pension, and they bring in a new man. Dear man. Coelho was dear man until he ran amok of a minister. And the minister fired him. And he said, I'm not going to be fired because of my contract. I'm not going to resign. And what happened? The chairman of the Police Services Commission called him. And incidentally, the Police Services Commission is appointed by the Prime Minister. So they called him and said, listen to me, Mr. Coelho. You can't serve any longer, but you are going to get your 3 years full pay plus your pension. Where you want to hang on for? Are you going to get the money anyway? Go about your business and go relax somewhere on the North Coast.
But Mr. Williams and Mr. Thompson and Dr. Francis and former FBI agent Wilfred Rattigan, it can't be that the people of our country must sit down under the pans of these gunmen who are becoming a clear and present danger to the national security of the citizens of Jamaica. And you're saying to me tonight here that the only plan the Labour Party has under Andrew Holness, because the People's National Party, them dead, is to have gun amnesty?
Hold on.
Hold on for Mr. Williams. When the Prime Minister himself is saying, he's not a gunman, he is in a bubble. He has a security running 24/7, paid by the taxpayers of this country.
You don't understand, my friend. You still don't understand. the Prime Minister's constituency are the biggest gunman them. Because it's a garrison. So does Mark Golan, the biggest, second biggest. So does Brown Burke. So does Paul Well. All of those are garrisons. Do you know what a garrison is in Jamaica? Do you know?
Yes, I'm a Jamaican, I know.
Then talk like a Jamaican. Don't talk like you are in a bubble. This is Jamaica, right? This is Jamaica where the last 4 prime ministers of this country were garrison politicians. What you think a garrison is, and who you think run a garrison?
Politicians.
Gunman.
Politicians run garrison?
Gunmen.
Gunmen run garrison. And if you're prime minister, all right, let me take you back a little further. There was an MP in St. Catherine that had a garrison, the Klansman gang garrison. And she was a PNP MP. And she complained to Patterson that she can't manage the constituency because the gunman garrison man want to run everything and she's not going to allow it. And Patterson don't reply to her. She write him another letter and she make it public. She say, it's either me or the gunman. And Patterson don't reply to her either. And privately himself, listen, if you can't manage the thing, just resign. And she resigned.
I think I know who you're talking, you know. Former MP Heather Robinson.
That's correct. That's correct. Ask her story. If she been bouncing around the Jamaica Labour Party and trying to get a seat for them, but them won't give, Andrew Holness won't give to her, and neither did Bruce Golding, right? But if she really loved Jamaica, she'll tell you her story, right? And you'll be shocked to find out that it's garrisons run Jamaica. Garrison politics run Jamaica. And right now, the man who really could do a better job than Golding is Bunton. But Bunton not going to campaign again because he wants a garrison too. And all the PNP garrisons are taken already. Anthony Hilton, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have a deal with him to give him Anthony Hilton constituency.
No, I'm going to take a constituency, man. That's where I come from. I'm going to take that one there.
Well, your
And
pocket.
Gentlemen, I have to.
hold on for me. We're live on air. Hold on for me. We're live on air. I think we're gonna have Dr. Francis say his final word because I think he has to go. Dr. Francis, your final word before you go, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the interlude and the forum. I think we have addressed the issues, and I think we should continue talking about this because a lot of Jamaicans don't understand where this thing is coming from, and we have to get together and we have to work with each other, especially in the diaspora. And instead of labeling other people and so on and so forth, we need to really work to really see if we can, because if we don't recover Jamaica, we are in some serious trouble. Serious trouble as Jamaicans, whether we're at home or abroad. And I want to thank you for the opportunity. And, we need to have more conversations like these. Thank you very much. Nice seeing you and being with you all, gentlemen. It was
thank you very much, Mr. Francis. Dr. Francis.
No, let me
Wilfred Rattigan, go ahead for me, sir.
Yeah, me try my 2 cents now. No, Michael,
we're not going anywhere now, Wilfred. We're just letting Mr. Francis go. We're not coming off air yet.
Right. No. What my idea about this thing is people power, right? I agree that in certain constituencies you have certain people running them, right? But they're not the majority, right? And I've seen, and the reason why I'm touting this idea of people pulling together because at the end of the day, I've seen it happen overseas, right? And I know what power there is in numbers. And if people just start, you need a sea change in terms of how people view themselves. If people would start looking at the way politicians treat them and start thinking about themselves first and say, listen, if my children can't get a good education, if I can't get a job, if I can't get decent housing, if I can't get good medical, if the infrastructure doesn't work, then we have to get rid of this first. If it means you have to vote for another party, then that's fine, because it's people over party. It's production over politics. And that's what I'm trying to do, to get people to understand that, listen, voting for a party consistently that's not doing anything for you is not going to get you anywhere. You have to make the politicians know that you have the power in terms of voting. And if you can, and I know it's a tough climb, but I believe that with the right strategy, people will come to their senses and realize, and that's what the politicians are afraid of. They're afraid of people mobilizing against them, because the first rule of a politician is to get reelected. That's the first rule. And if that is threatened, then you'll see change. I don't care about JLP, PNP, whatever. All I care about is the people. Take care of the people. Do the service delivery. And you're right, Michael. The gunmen control it, but the gunmen, if you look at the total population, the gunmen are far fewer than the law-abiding citizens. And if we can get the police, if we can clean up the police, and in a way, I kind of regret that we never even get the job, because I tell you, if me did get that job there and the team we did have, half of Parliament would be in a prison right now. And when I say prison, I'm not talking about Jamaican jails either, because we have the information. Half of Parliament would be in American jail right now.
Hold on for Mr. Rattigan. I wanted to repeat it. Wilfred Rattigan applied for the position of Commissioner of Police under the People's National Party, PJ Policy Administration. He did not get it. But this is what Wilfred Rattigan is saying now. If he did get it, what would happen, Mr. Rattigan?
Well, I applied under Sister P, and I applied under the JLP. Both parties. Yeah, both parties rejected me. But if I had gotten that job, I am telling you, half of them would have been in prison right now. Would have cleaned up the whole place. The border control would not be a problem. We have the people, we have the technology, we have the know-how, we have the skill set, we have everything necessary to develop a robust intelligence base. That's what Jamaica don't have. Jamaica don't have that, right? They have the money, but where's the money going? The money is not going where it should be. We know that. And that's why I'm pushing with an initiative right now to look at donor funds and see where the funds went, and if the funds were controlled by politicians and end up in their bank account in America or elsewhere, we are planning to pursue that. And we're planning to work hand in glove with the donor agencies and the donor countries to prosecute these people. The FBI have a mandate. They have an international corruption unit in LA, Miami, DC, and New York. And we're coming up with an initiative to work with these folks, because we believe that some of these politicians are crooked, dirty, and that they stole donor funds destined for poor people. Just like COVID, the COVID money that they received, the donor agencies are the lending agencies, IMF, IDB, and World Bank. They talk about vulnerable communities and said this money is earmarked for vulnerable communities and businesses. And we don't know one vulnerable person who get money. We don't know. So the money got more than $700 million in a cash. US dollars.
And you know something, before I let chairman of the NDM come in, Michael Williams and Dudley Thompson from Roots FM come in. You know something, Mr. Rattigan? The journalists in Jamaica are not asking questions about those things, you know. And also, the Minister of National Security along with the Commissioner of Police. Commissioner of Police had a press conference a couple of days ago. And I don't hear them talk about the biggest drugs bust in the history of Jamaica. No. And I don't hear nobody ask them about it.
And look at the deflection. Look at the deflection. Over a ton of cocaine. I remember Jamaica produced cocaine. Over a ton of cocaine seized at the airport. And what happened right after? They demolished people's buildings and they took our attention away from the drug bust to this nonsense of them demolish people and claiming that, oh, it's criminals who are trying to get rid. Oh, that's another crime plan. If you suspect that criminals living in a neighborhood, bulldoze the whole neighborhood. That's another crime plan. Why don't you do about Cherry Gardens?
But not only that, Mr. Rattigan, the Prime Minister of Jamaica went to Parliament and addressed the Parliament and said that criminal elements are selling the lands. So the question I want to ask him tonight, the principal of the school in his constituency who was found selling the lands, is she a part of the criminal element? Is she a part of the Klansman gang? Go back to the Parliament and tell the people of Jamaica that, Mr. Prime Minister, you use taxpayers' money to get helicopter go up in the air to watch over the lands over by what the bloody place name again, Dudley? Clifton.
In Bernard Lodge.
And Drums.
And Bernard Lodge and Clifton.
And Bernard Lodge, wherever they want to call it. While poor people in this country is being brutally gunned down day after day, night after night by the criminal elements. And the only crime plan we have in this country is gun amnesty. Michael Williams.
Yes, sir.
If the National Democratic Movement was in power, would you have a crime plan for this country, sir?
We have already outlined our crime plan. We took it to the private sector, public sector committee, and they have not included it in their recommendations to the government. We are asking for the appointment of an independent police commissioner. What I mean by that is that he can be fired by the Public Service Commission. Just like how they appointed Indicom, or the Director of Public Prosecution, or the political ombudsman, they need to appoint a commissioner of police like that. Even if Mr. Rattigan came down here and because appointed the commissioner of police, if he's reporting to a minister, then the minister fire him the following day and pay off him contract, whichever is 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, pay it off and say goodbye.
So do you think?
Because the commissioner of police in Jamaica must report to the government in power. Because the government in power have to have full control of the commissioner. That is how you're going to. No commissioner of police can arrest any member of parliament in this country. None.
Hold on, Mr. Williams. You're saying to me that the commissioner of police don't have the power to arrest a member of parliament?
He can't do it. Of course, he has the power.
Why he can't do it?
A constable. You worry about corporal swearing?
I think I heard about him, yes.
He was assigned to the airport, and the wife of the Minister of National Security parking at illegal parking.
And she backs him and says, our man run things.
Yes. And when he objected, he was transferred to Never Land. And only under this administration let him reach the position of.
How them backs are backing up behind you, see?
Yeah, that is you. That is your talk.
Who?
I want you after that. Listen,
well, no. Hold on, Mr. Williams. You hold a minute. You're telling me that the Minister of National Insecurity and Injustice, former KD Knight, because KD Knight wife did it. Me call name.
Yes.
It's KD Knight wife backs the policeman.
Yes.
And you're telling me me backs her. What I come out of it? Listen to me, I'm not chatting crap in this country.
You don't know. You have lived overseas too far, too long.
No.
The last gunman, the back a prime minister wife, not a prime minister wife, but an MP wife, per the wife, get boxed by a gunman, a top gunman in them constituency. 2 weeks later, that man was buried.
So you're saying to me that politicians them run things while poor people gunned down day after day, night after night by criminals, and we're still paying them behind?
Yes, that is Jamaica. Two people in the People's National Party. One of them was an MP, was a constituency representative, and one was aspiring to be a constituency representative. Him talk in the earshot of the prime minister of the day, PJ Patterson. What him think of PJ Patterson's sexual preferences? Two of them. And in a month, the two of them dead.
He's a proven heterosexual. Anyway, let's not go down that road.
I am using an example to show you what can happen to you if you are a corporal in the police force in Jamaica. Do you understand what a militia is? You know what a militia is?
Yes, Mr.
The JLP have a militia and the PNP have a militia. And I want to tell Mr. Rattigan, yes, they get money. When they are in power, they get money from the consolidated fund. Let me ask you a question. Who you think is important going into this country? You think it's Grace Kennedy, Sandals, Separate? It is one other and Klansman. Only them have the resources to bring in them type of gun. They bring 3 shipments in on the wharf and them tip the police at one gun, about one, and the 2 others go through. That's how it works. They have the resources and they have the money. There are days on the wharf when nobody who is not paid by certain people can even go on the wharf, go do an inspection.
Then it's so corrupt, we're corrupt in this country.
Listen to me. When I tell you that Alibaba run Jamaica, you think it's a joke?
Dudley Thompson hearing this?
Yes, loud and clear.
No, Dudley Thompson, no. Because him have a inner city, Roots of him is an inner city station.
Yes.
Him know, him in a Cockburn pen. Him know who run things down there.
So, Mr. Williams, do you believe that the powers may be want to solve Jamaica's crime problem?
No. They created the problem.
They're not part of the problem.
They're the problem.
Not part of the problem.
My God, you know, listen to me, say, man. You know, processing through your cranium.
I am, but no, why I'm asking the question that way, no, Mr. Williams. If, and that is why I would love Wilfred Rattigan to come into this. If the government of America, the government of other countries, keep on giving them money, in other words, they're giving the 2 political parties money whenever they're in power to push the crime agenda then. Can they not solve the crime?
Let me tell you something about America. America has no friends. They have interests. When they wanted their man to be the chairman of the OAS against all the Caribbean and Venezuela and all them countries that was part of OAS, who do you think them called? Them called Andrew Holness. And Andrew Holness was given the job to sway the votes so that their man could become the chairman of OAS. And he did a good job. And they paid him back.
And that is, That is why the other Caribbean.
That is why America and Jamaica, they don't have friends. They have interests. And if Jamaica play to their interests, then everything is fine. You remember 1989 when Michael Manley dashed from Cariba and he put on him jacket and tie and go to Washington?
Yeah.
And people in Washington that Siaga was not good for Jamaica and them switch allegiance. America switch allegiance to Michael Manley. And Michael Manley said, free up the dollar. And he did. Him do everything America wanted. And him wreck the country in the process.
If you're just joining us here on Make We Talk, Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel, we're speaking about Jamaica's gun amnesty. We have with us the chairman of the National Democratic Movement in Jamaica, Mr. Michael Alexander Williams, Dudley Thompson, senior journalist of Roots FM, former FBI agent Wilfred Rattigan, who applied for the Commissioner of Police job in Jamaica and they didn't want to give it to him. As he just said, if they had given it to him, half of the Jamaican politicians would be in prison in the United States. Please like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Is Jamaica's gun amnesty will solve Jamaica's crime problem? That's the question we're asking tonight. And a lot of Jamaicans that I've spoken to off air is saying, Mr. Tavares, no. I'm speaking to the senior of all senior on this platform tonight, chairman of the National Democratic Movement, who is an outspoken Jamaican. And he said, no, it will not help solve Jamaica's crime pandemic, where the criminals are becoming a clear and present danger to the national security of Jamaica. 14 people died in 24 hours from last night to tonight, from last night until today. 14 Jamaicans gunned down in Jamaica. And the only solution the whole administration has is a gun amnesty. And the People's National Party had a conference a couple days or a couple months ago. You don't hear them come up with a crime plan for Jamaica. So we are in this country living in a country where criminals are taking over. Jamaica is knocking behind Haiti's back door. Michael Williams, your thoughts?
I want to tell you, sir, you have used a wrong adjective. It is criminals have taken over, not are taking over. Alibaba, remember Alibaba. And the reason why I can get away with Alibaba, because Alibaba had 40 teeth. And the whole parliament have 63. Why them those two men? So if you have to go with 40, I'm talking about. I walk right on the edge of the precipice, but I don't fall over, although I'm not a liar.
So right? Mr. Williams, they keep on talking about a 2030 vision for Jamaica. And I keep on asking the question, Wilfred Rattigan, are you there? I keep on asking the question, is what 2030 vision are they talking about? Because I don't see it. No. Jamaica, we have become one of the most corrupt nations in the history of the Caribbean. Where crime take over corruption. Hello, corruption stinks from top to bottom. That's according to the late Bustamante, top to bottom.
Well,
bottom to top.
Well, that is right. Well, you can use my example. No river run dirty from the middle.
Wilfred Rattigan.
Yes, sir. Now, Vision 2030, the essence of it is that we want Jamaica to be a place to raise a family, invest, work, and live a happy life, right? So on and so forth. But it's a vision. It's a vision. And it's going to remain that way there. Just a vision. Actually, it's an illusion. Because That, as my good friend Badakat would say, that would never happen. Not 2030. So all of them things that we are talking about, all them idealistic things that are not at the rate we are going right now. We have to do a complete turnaround. At the rate we're going, Jamaica will not be the place to live and invest and raise a family and blah, blah, blah by 2030. No, sir. And I would bet anybody. I would bet the Prime Minister. I would bet the Minister of National Security. I would bet the Police Commissioner. Everything I have, I would bet them. I tell them that Jamaica by 2030 will not be the place where you have all of these lofty and idealistic ambitions. Will not be. Because what happened is that they don't have anybody there who's truly thinking about the Jamaican people. They're thinking, as Michael said, I keep referring to, making reference to what he started his opening remarks. They're looking out for themselves. That's all they're doing. They're looking out for themselves. So this vision 2030, it's going to be just like Jamaica, blind. Nothing going to come out of it, right? What you need people with skill, knowledge, wherewithal, force. You need people who are leaders to come in and take over this thing, right? And and all I'm asking for is for the Jamaican people to say, listen, we're tired of this nonsense, and we're going to do something, and we're going to do something that are legal and are peaceful. Because at the rate them go right now, things not pretty. It's not pretty. And it looks hopeless right now. Hopeless because the amount of guns in Jamaica, you have to come up with this nonsense. Look, if your crime plan is demolishing neighborhoods that you suspect gunmen to inhabit, or gunmen inhabiting, that's one. Amnesty, gun amnesty. So, state of emergency, curfew, Jamaica High. If them there your crime plan, God help you. God help you because those are the concepts that are being employed in Jamaica as crime plan, and we still not see nothing right. And yet we have a police commissioner who was chief of staff and the first and only national security advisor
to the Prime Minister.
Yeah. And so he was the security czar. He sat at the 30,000 foot level and oversaw everything that was going on. So therefore, he was probably the fittest person to take over the job of police commissioner and succeed. Yet, dismal failure.
You on time, hon? But you on time?
Yeah, but look, I watched that man. That man is useless because I watched him at a town hall meeting, and I said to myself, this man is a grandfatherly figure. And in fact, when I saw him, his first grandchild, I don't know if he has another one since, but his first grandchild was born the same day, February 28th, 2020, right? Just before COVID. And we need to send a clear and resounding message to this man that he should stop committing fraud by taking taxpayers' money and not performing. By the way, didn't the Prime Minister mention that he's going to have some kind of standards when going to measure all the ministers them and give them letters? What happened to that?
No, he said in his first 100 days he'll put into Parliament legislation for term limit on prime ministers. He will also put in legislation in Parliament to hold politicians accountable if they're not doing anything in the constituency. Until now, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Michael Andrew Holness, has not put anything in Parliament for term limits or anything like that.
Listen, let me just say something. Let me just make an announcement here to all the listeners. I have a program called Reason with Rattigan. It's on Reggae Global Radio, www.reggaeglobalradio.com. very soon, I'm going to have a guest from the former U.S. intelligence community person. This person has a ton of information regarding the Prime Minister and others. And he will be revealing on my program all of the shenanigans going on that people suspect, but they couldn't prove. Well, this gentleman is going to come on and he's going to reveal it all so that the Jamaican people can, once and for all, can hear from an experienced, seasoned professional his opinion based on facts as to what's going on in the government, particularly with the Prime Minister. People,
Mr. Rattigan, somebody is saying to us that we can't see your face. I don't know where he is, maybe he can't see us, but it's the same Wilfred Rattigan.
That's right. I'm so reach on 5 minutes for reach on, man. I'm a compartment on the cancer my face. I'm coming out. Right, man. But like I said, this is gonna be, and then once this is done, and we say, people, look, we need to do something, and we give them steps, and them don't take any steps and do what they're supposed to do, then them cannot complain after. People cannot complain because you get the government you deserve. After certain things are pointed out to you, and you see how the fraud, the misappropriation, the mismanagement, the waste, the abuse, when you see all of that is perpetuated, and you turn on and you vote for them people if you come back in and commit more, then you have no reason to complain.
But Mr. Rattigan, Jamaicans, I want to say this to Dudley Thompson. Jamaicans are saying no better barrel, no better herring. Mr. Thompson, go ahead, sir.
But 1 second, Mr. Thompson, come on. What I'm saying is that once you pit them against each other, you will not have garrison seats and safe seats and all them nonsense there. Because no, you will educate the people, you will inform the people, and make them understand that it's about them, it's not about the politician. And if a politician is not providing, giving you service delivery, then you vote for somebody, and see, once they know that they can be removed. I just started saying no better herring, no better barrel, right? But there's no better herring, no better barrel because there's no carrot and there's no stick. But once you have the carrot and the stick and you say, well, listen now, Mr. JLP, you've been here for 20 years and we don't get a good road. We don't have running water. We have pit toilet. We have this, we have that. And you promise us all of these things. So guess what now? Next time we're going to vote you out. You're going to see how quick things done. Because my plan is about people power. It's about people banding together to get the politicians, to get government to do what it's legally required, legally, morally, and otherwise required to do for people, not for themselves. And therein lies the unity between me and Michael, because I agree with him that the politicians are only looking out for themselves, them family and friends and them party, not the people. Take it down, Jeffrey.
We are here talking on the Make We Talk program. Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. I'm here speaking to Chairman of the National Democratic Movement, Michael Williams, Senior Journalist Dudley Thompson, former FBI agent Wilfred Rattigan, attorney at law, son of the soil of Waterhouse. Some of them talk, some police, me we call name, one former SSP. Have ever talked to Wilfred Rattigan? If you don't say nothing when they go on to Jamaica, because they are Jamaica. Let me make something clear to you down there. Right in this country. When the politicians they come in the diaspora to get money, they go campaign for the Labour Party and the People's National Party. The people ain't get their money. So they have a right to say in what is going on in the country. Dudley Thompson, unmute your mic. Do you believe that the Jamaican people have reached a point where one of these days, and the same question goes for Michael Williams, that one of these days, a riot not broke out in Jamaica?
Well, I'm not sure about the riots, but right now, the Jamaicans are fed up with both PNP and JLP. And the sad thing though, Jamaica has so many third parties, like even the NDM and UIC, but the third parties is yet to make that impact. You can at least win some seats in parliament. As you look at the stats, the poll the last year, JLP 30%, PNP 18%, the uncommitted 55%. So the uncommitted right now is the majority because Jamaica don't are fed up with both PNP and GLP. And we need to have a third party now who can make an impact on Jamaican political scene. We're hoping that the NDM is here and can make an impact on that scene because Jamaica is filled with PNP and GLP, to be frank. But we're going to see a riot, as I said, because the 30% are 40% who might be voting. Other than 40% who will be voting, about 3/4 will vote GLP. And the 55% is the uncommitted. And and to me, in my view, that uncommitted sect is looking for an alternative. We're hoping that the NDM can provide that alternative that the uncommitted is looking for. Because they are cut out from both PNP and GLP. And we're going to see a riot, so to speak, but Jamaica want another alternative apart from PNP and GLP.
Michael Williams?
Yes, sir.
Same question.
The answer is a resounding. We have to have a third party. NDM wanted, still desire to fill that seat because we have some of the best policies in Jamaica right now, which the JLP and the PNP will not adopt because it is not good for them. It's only good for the country, right? We have the best crime plan. I've told you a little bit about it. We want to separate the police force from the other bargaining units and pay them separately outside the bargaining unit so that they can understand that they are in a privileged position and they can fight the crime without their hands being tied, right? We have proposed what needs to be done. And the first thing is separate the commissioner of police from answering to the minister and answer to parliament. But they'll never do that, right? They'll never do that because it is not in their interest to do that.
And the question might be now, what can the NDM do now to attract some of the uncommitted to become supporters of the NDM?
Well, that takes money. I remember 4 years ago, I went to a big businessman and I outlined all of our plans and I showed him where, if we were to raise the standard of living for the people of Jamaica, he would double his business by 50% in the first 2 years. And he buy into everything. And open checkbook, ready to draw the check to us for what we're asking for, which was modest still, because it was a start. And then him sit back and him say, what is in it for me? I answered him, but I never even answered to him. I said to him, what we have outlined will increase your business by 50%, and you agree? He said, no, my friend, what is in it for me? And I said, under the system that we propose, it is Jamaica that we're dealing with. We're not dealing with no individual. Any road that we fix is going to fix all the way. It's not going to stop at no GLP yard or in a PNP yard or in an NDM yard. It's going to fix all the way. So when you drive on that road, you will benefit. Man, look back one way and look at the president. Never look for me again. Say, here. What is in it for me? And president just say, well, you have heard of proposal and show them prep book and say, listen, man, nice to see you. We'll talk to you another time.
That's the level of corruption in our country.
That is right.
It will never better because you see it will never better. So
Wilfred Rattigan.
Right now, the private sector give the GSP and the PNP is not money money organization, you know. Aside from what them scam when them in power, right? I want to give you 2 more stories before you turn to Mr. Rattigan. Short story. The first one is the crime level in this country is linked directly to the politics. Both Mr. Commissioner of Police and his number 2 man, Fitz Bailey, was on radio. Same radio station that Mr. Rattigan referred to earlier.
Go ahead, man. Nobody calling him. Go ahead.
Cliff Hughes program.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that our mandate is to bring in all the gunmen, and we are going after the Klansman gang because they are the ones that is giving all the trouble in Jamaica. Right? And I call into Cliff Hughes program, and they won't allow me to talk on air, but I asked a question to the producer and said, what about one order? Why are you not going after one order? And Cliff Hughes asked him the question, why are you not going after one order? And the commissioner never answered. Fitz Bailey answered. You know what he said? He said, one order's party is in power. And he said, one order's party is in power. And when their party is in power, them don't do no crime.
Hold up in there. Hold up in. Hold up in. Do you remember there was a crisis over Spanish Town when the current mayor for Spanish Town couldn't go to the police? You remember that incident, Dudley?
Yes.
Couldn't go to the police.
Attack on the capital, the square.
Right. And I asked the question, why is it that the member of parliament, there's 3 members of parliament considered adjoined to each other? The culture minister,
yes.
Andrew Wheatley,
yes,
and the PNP lady there. Remember her name?
Daily.
Why is it that the culture minister cannot come out and renounce the gang that her party is affiliated to? So you hear though, the assistant commissioner of police is telling the nation that they can't say about the one other than because what? Their party is in power.
Yes, but
and we must continue. Now put our finger in an ink for these people.
Well, you need to extrapolate what that means. As far as the commissioner and the deputy is concerned, one other don't have to commit no crime because they are being paid by the consolidated fund.
Mama. Wilfred Rattigan.
Who you think get the contract?
Who you think do it?
Who you think get the contract so to patch up the road them? That's a famous journalist say the road them patch up, but them don't patch up good because too much politics mixed up in the asphalt.
No, tell me something now. We're taking this thing for a joke, but we have to laugh. No, yeah. Tell me something now. Is this country? No, another Rattigan, Mr. Rattigan.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Isn't Jamaica going on a slippery slope?
Of course,
it's already on a slippery slope. Yes. It's not going on. It's on a slippery slope,
yes.
And it's plunging at a rapid rate. You know, I mean, Jamaica. You know, even for my program, I was thinking about content and said, well, I have to do research and all that. But I don't have to do any research. All I have to do is just read the news and listen to a couple of radio programs, and that's my content right there. Because some of the things that are happening, they're happening in a blatant way, in a bold-faced way. a bald-faced way, because it's just happening right in front of you. You can't help but see. Stevie Wonder can see some of the stuff that's going on, you know. So it's like, and then you wonder, you know, they get up and they make these highfalutin statements and soaring speeches about how they're going to do things to arrest the corruption in the country, and they're going to do this with the crime, and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. I went back and I was looking at some speeches made by our present or current prime minister about saying that the JLP, they know how to do, they know how to deal with crime better than the PNP. And, you know, when you look at it, you have to agree with Michael saying that no better area, and also you, Jeffrey, no better area, no better barrel, because the crime rate has just been spiraling out of control for decades now, and nobody seems to. There seems to be a reluctance to do anything about it, or in some instances, inability to do anything about it, and they put people in positions of authority that they can control. That they said, don't look over, and like Michael said, you know, don't think that the police commission is going to arrest any member of parliament or arrest the prime minister. That's just not going to happen. He's right. It's not going to happen provided we have that system in place and that we have these individuals in place. Because I'm telling you, as I sit here, the plan I had for Jamaica, it was going to be nice for the poor people and the middle class people, right? But for those people who depended on the government to commit shenanigans, and the government officials who committed shenanigans, they would you know, hell would be, you know, their pathway. Because I was coming with blood in my eye for them, because I know what they're doing, you know, and they know that I know what they're doing. They know that, right? They know that. I mean, every time I come to Jamaica, a few of them, you know, they circle around me because they want to know what's in the file, you know, what's in the file on them and what's in the file on their opposition, right? But they know I know. And I'm not the only one who knows. There are other people as well. And that's why we're saying we're going to start an initiative to look at donor funds, because if Jamaican politicians are afraid of Jamaican justice, because it's a misnomer, Jamaican justice. No, sir. There's no justice in Jamaica. In fact, there are two different types of justice system. You know what I'm afraid of? They're afraid to lose that visa. That's number one. And I'm afraid for Uncle Sam come pick them up in Jamaica and bring them on us to come face justice, because they have no influence on them come on them. They know that. That's what I'm afraid of. And because we know that's what them fear, that's where we go and try and do. That's what we are going to try and do. Right? And for some people, we already have the evidence. We already, and all of them know what them do wrong. One of the questions I wanted to ask the Prime Minister is simply this: Mr. Prime Minister, have you ever been involved, directly or indirectly, with any acts of fraud, of criminal activity since you have been Prime Minister, including money laundering, right? Including a whole host of other criminal. Are you aware of it, or have you ever been involved in it, directly or indirectly? I ask him that, and I want him tell me. I want him tell me no. That's what I want him tell me.
But Wilfred Rattigan.
Yes. I'm not going to tell me yes.
Do you believe that he will truthfully answer that question, sir?
That's what I'm saying to you. Look, whether it's true or not, I know he will not say to me, yes, I know about it, and yes, I've been involved. He will not say that to me. Whether it's true or false, that's something else. That's something that I will have to prove.
Or maybe the question should be asking, do you know of any member of your party involved in certain hanky-panky, according to the former Minister of Foreign Affairs, the one who would tell Camilla Johnson Smith on something with him again, Dudley?
No, but you know, because you have the Petrojam scandal, and you have the Minister of Education scandal. So yes, so I know about that. But what's interesting is that
UTC.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that the Prime Minister was previously the Minister of Education, and whilst he's serving that position, I'm being told that Royal Reid was an advisor to him in that position.
Yes,
Yeah.
because he was principal for
JC.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was interesting that the Prime Minister was there, and then him left, and then this man take over, and then all of a sudden money start just fly through the door like it go out of style. Also, here's another point I want to bring up. The lifestyle audit, or as we call it in America, the financial background investigation, right? Now, they're supposed to do this for the politicians, right? They're supposed to go through and make sure that everything that they have, they can legally prove
That they have it.
that they have it,
How they
right?
earn
Oh,
it.
yeah.
How they earn it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. No, when I was in the FBI, we did 2 financial background investigations. Every person had to go through it, 2 every year, not 1, 2 every year. One of them was very, very intrusive, because here's what the first one was about you. Them ask you who, you know, your liabilities and where you own and who you owe, and that was it. The second one was very intrusive because it went into great detail about your ownership of certain things, your debts, and your family. So they looked at your wife and they looked at your children. I don't know, and I don't know if they're doing this in Jamaica. I suspect that they're not doing it, that they're not looking at the politician's wife and baby mother, because in the FBI, if you have a baby mother and a wife and a girlfriend, them look at all of them as well. Because you have to be able to show that whatever money you have, it came from a legitimate source, right? And I think it was Woodrow Wilson who said, show me a politician show me a person who became rich as a politician and I'll show you a crook. So, you know, that's what they should be doing. And so what I'm proposing is that when money is transferred, when these politicians transfer money and it touches the banking system of the US is very concerned because they're concerned about the integrity of their banking system. They don't want their banking system to be used as a tool to transfer ill-gotten gains. And they will prosecute you for doing that. They will prosecute you for doing that, and they will return the funds. So that's what I'm telling you, the politicians in Jamaica, they're afraid to lose the visa, right? They're afraid to come to prison up here, and they're afraid to lose. The third thing is they're afraid to lose whatever they have here, invested here, or any part of the world where the US can't touch it. They're afraid of that. And so that's why I'm afraid of somebody like me, because I'm very dangerous to them. Very, very dangerous. And so I don't expect that I will be held in good graces. I don't expect that they'll be inviting me to any of the cocktail parties or anything like that. Or if they do, they'll just call me there for try and pick my brains. But at the end of the day, we need to do something about this crime problem, because the tactics, and it's not even strategies that they're using right now, it's just tactics. It's shock and awe, something that's sudden, and then it's over and done with. You know, the zoos of the SOE, the curfew, the bulldozing of people place, the amnesty thing, all this nonsense. This is not crime fighting, and whoever says it's crime fighting, they're misguided.
You know, Mr. Rattigan and Mr. Williams and Mr. Thompson. You know my take on all of this. I believe, this is my honest opinion, that they get all this amount of money when pussy butter, you know.
You must
Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
You must understand something. The Prime Minister of Jamaica is much more powerful than the President of the United States.
I keep on telling people that listen, no go so.
In Jamaica, he is.
Yes, I'm talking about position.
Yeah, in Jamaica, he is. Yeah.
Yes. So he can literally do anything he wants. I've always said this too. The only time that a Prime Minister of Jamaica will feel the wrath of America is when him cross America.
What you doing?
When him
Cross.
cross America, him can be the biggest criminal. As long as them deal with America's interests, him is all right.
Listen, Michael, listen.
You remember the man in Panama? Noriega.
Yeah.
Noriega.
As soon
Yeah,
as
man.
him fall out with America, him gone.
And
Well,
Saddam too.
Well, I tell you what, Michael, I tell you what, like I said, I have a guest here. He going to let us some bombshell information, right? That if people start looking, and the thing about it is that he's doing it for the benefit of Jamaica so that they can understand what's going on with bad governance, not good governance. And at the same time, he's doing it appealing to the authorities here to take a closer look at the matter. Because you're right, one of the reasons is the US government will go after if you cross them. But they will also go after you if it's proven and the media jump on top of it, because the media here is unlike the media in Jamaica.
In America.
Yeah, the media here in America is unlike yeah. So what happened is that once you start exposing things and you start bringing it to their attention, the other thing too is that there is a committee in Congress that looks at Caribbean affairs. And once you start talking to the right people here, right, man bottom I go twep, because then we know it's gonna happen.
Name a one of them person that I carry a conversation, I can send him some information. So
No problem. When you see my guest, I'm gonna have you on the program and have my guest on, and you can probe him. You can ask any question you want of him, and he will tell you exactly what's going on. He will tell you how the money has been moving around the world, right?
Now one go to Mexico. One go to Mexico and come back in Jamaica with briefcase full of money. You never call no name. So you can't say nothing. You can't say whatever I say. Eh?
a man,
He losing visa, don't? He losing visa.
I don't know who lose
Visa,
visa. Radical men know him a fight for all of them.
First losing visa and get back a temporary one.
Nationwide carry a story about a man go to Cuba to introduce digital to Cuba and come back with a bag of money.
Right on the plane at the time, and the security girl gone dead.
And Nationwide have to pay $4 million to the man after the man done suing, and he couldn't produce
Evidence.
He couldn't produce the evidence because he take it in confidentiality. He couldn't disclose him source.
Yes.
Right? And he might end up paying $4 million to the politician, PJ Patterson.
Hi. Be careful you call name pious, you know.
Why?
My name make we talk, but my name Tavares, but me no want Pat to come to me.
All right. Well,
Michael, let me tell you, Michael, think about this, right? Because I worked almost 30 years for the US government in various capacities all over the world. Think about the issue like this. Is there anything going on? Is there anything that has gone on, that is going on, or that will go on in Jamaica that the US government does not know about?
Nothing at all. The US
Exactly right.
Jamaica more than the police commissioner.
Exactamente. If you want to find out about crime in Jamaica, and I've been preaching to people about this, is just go and read the regional security officer's report. If you want to find out what's going on with medicine in Jamaica and the practice of medicine in Jamaica, talk to the regional medical officer, because their job is to collect all the information that they can regarding their area of responsibility. And when you read those reports, and some of them are online, when you read them, you get a sense that, wait a minute, these guys have sources all over Jamaica. They know everything that's going on. Anything that's alleged the US government can tell you that we can confirm.
So,
Anything
Mr.
is
Rattigan,
Yeah.
does the American embassy or the US government have a pinch woman or a pinch man inside the Parliament of Jamaica?
Look, let me answer that question like this. And Michael mentioned it. And I smiled. You couldn't see me because I was driving. I smiled when he said it. When he said Jamaica, when he said America don't have friends, they have interests. They have interest. And the first, in fact, the single most important thing in any country where you have an American representative, even where you don't have an American representative, is this: American interest. That's the first thing. And that word interest covers a wide variety of things. And so America comes in and says, this thing is in our interest. Well, we go and find out everything that we need to know about it. And they will collect, and they will get in a position where they said, okay, now you're going to do this. They don't ask. They'll tell you, you will do this. And then you will see the file. You see the file. And the things that you value, you will see them. They will show you how those things can disappear quickly, and so you'll have no choice. You just have to do what's in the best interest of the U.S. So everything that's going on in Jamaica, one of the time they must say, "Oh, me come down there, me a spy." I say, "Well, I'm poor thing. When me a come down to Jamaica, come spy about where Jamaica have, right? That's of national interest, security-wise, that America does not know about. Nothing, zero."
That is correct. 100%. Head on.
Mr. Rattigan, maybe I shouldn't ask you this question. Maybe I shouldn't put you on the spot. But I'm going to ask you this question.
Ask me the question, man.
Do you believe that the Jamaican Constabulary Force can solve the lot of scamming if they want to? Because they have the capability to tap phones?
Let me take you back.
Hold on, Mr. Williams.
No, before you come in, let me just tell you something, Mr. Jeffrey. The American government have an agreement signed by Peter Phillips when he was National Security Minister to listen to every single telephone conversation in Jamaica. The equipment is here. The manpower is here. They use members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to listen to the phones. But that information goes to the American government before it goes back to the Commissioner of Police. Well, you understand what I'm telling you? Every single phone call that you make in Jamaica is listened to, or the capacity is there to listen to it. But if you use certain words, or if you are certain persons who affiliate with gangs and everything, American government know more about Jamaica than the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition, and the Commissioner of Police and the JDF put together.
There is another group there too with that capability in Jamaica. There's another group there right now. I won't call any names, but there's another group there right now. But getting back to your question, Jeffrey, about the scamming stuff, let me just reveal something to you, and it's not confidential, at least not anymore. I attended meetings, at least a meeting in Washington on behalf of my superior at the time, where the funding for Homeland Security to assist the Jamaican Constabulary Force vis-a-vis lotto scamming, I actually sat on that committee and I voted for the continuation of the funding. So all of this stuff that was going on, all of the stuff that's going on, at least when I was there, all the stuff going on in Jamaica with lotto scamming, I was privy to it because I sat there in the council. I sat in the council around the table with all the various agencies and we discussed this issue. I don't know if they know that I was born in Jamaica or whatever, but we discussed all of this issue. I mean, I can't tell you what was discussed, but I sat there and I voted for the continuation of the initiative.
So Mr. Rattigan, if the capability and the initiative to continue with it is in Jamaica. Why is it? Because they said that majority of the crime is caused by a lot of scamming. Then why is it the Ministry of National Security with the JCF can't put a grip on the whole scamming going on in Jamaica? Is it that members of parliament involved in a lot of scamming too?
Well,
Why
look,
they can't do it?
there have been allegations about that, and so far I don't think they've been proven. But one thing I can tell you is that if you look at it objectively and say, well, then members of parliament, they're above and beyond reproach in involving with these types of activities, then you're left with one conclusion, and that is the ineptness of the JCF and the failure of the leadership to deal with this crime problem. Because like you said, they have identified it. They said, oh, we know that most of these, at some point I'm beginning to believe that one of the JCF's so-called strategies is to let the criminals shoot it out and kill each other. Because every time the police commissioner, not every time, but a lot of the times when he comes on, he will say, he'll start distinguish between who is killing whom. You know what I mean? He won't describe it like it's just, people killing, X amount of people were killed by X amount of perpetrators. He'll just say, some of it is domestic violence and so on. And most of it, he'll say, is criminals killing criminals. And to some degree, I can't prove it, but this is just the feeling I'm getting, that one of the things they say is just let them kill off each other. Why would get in the middle of this? Let them just kill off each other. I hope I'm wrong, but that's the feeling I'm getting. Because, and the reason I'm saying that is because I do not see anything concrete, meaningful, something that's workable, something that's measurable. I haven't seen anything to that effect that will instruct me or inform me that they're serious about it. They talk like they're serious, but then when you say, okay, what's your plan? I mean, that to me, that is the biggest thing that the Jamaican people should rise up about, is saying, where is the crime plan? Where is the crime plan? Michael have a crime plan, right? Me have a crime plan. You have a crime plan. Then how come the government don't have a crime plan? How come they don't have a crime plan? And yet still, they're responsible for the safety and the protection and the reassurance of the Jamaican public. Now, how you do that without a crime plan? Even a football team have a plan. A football team have a plan. So how come a government now have a plan to deal with something as serious as crime? And people are dying in the streets daily. And all they're doing up there is just, one of the questions we should ask them is, and I used to get this question a lot when I was number 2 in charge of the office in Mississippi. People would ask me constantly, what keeps you up at night time? What keeps you up at night? What you worry about? Right? What keeps you up at night? I'm gonna like for asking that. And I'm sure some of the people, if you ask them, they must say not keep them up at night. Them sleep well. They must tell you that.
But let me say
because
something.
Because it coming like, it's like my father said, sometimes some people so dumb that to give them a bullet with them name on it and then yam it.
Let me say something, Mr. Rattigan. Before I say this, if you're just joining us here on the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel, we're speaking about Jamaica's gun amnesty, Jamaica's crime situation, the corruption that faces our country. Like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Share this YouTube channel to every Jamaican you can share it to. We are not a member of any political party. The only person here is a member of a political party is Mr. Michael Williams, who's the chairman of the NDM. My gearbox smash up, I can't go neither left, right, nor center, because I don't see who or what to vote for anymore. We're speaking about Jamaica's crime situation. And this question for my good friend Dudley Thompson. Dudley, you're a Jamaican, you're a journalist. Because I know what keep me up at nights. What keep me up at nights is the rampant criminality in our country. The gunmanism in our country. Every day, so somebody shoot, brought back dead. I pray that none of my friends or family is being gunned down by gunmen. Mr. Thompson, what keep you up at night, sir?
Researching about the ills of this country and going beyond what is reported. And find out as they try to find out why, as Mr. Rattigan said, people in Jamaica don't want a solution because they are benefiting from the crime. The crime is benefiting them. So they have no interest in solving the crime. I think the big issue is now is to take the profit out of crime. If they don't, want the crime having the profit, it will not stop. That's the basic right. Because both party, them garrison, as you all know, them gangs, to ensure that when election come, they get the votes from the garrison communities. And it started from the 60s, and it get out of hand now. Back up until the 1990s, you saw these young members used to wait on a political handout. But that all changed now. Nowadays, the scammers are now funding political campaign. Person lose the control what they had like 20 years ago. Nowadays, gang don't rely on political handout. They are now funding the parties. And that's where the problem coming now. They're no longer in charge. The gangsters are in charge.
In other words, they create this danmanism, this gangmanism, and it's out of hand now. So they can't control it.
No, they lose control totally. Well, nowadays you have a lot of scammers now funding political campaigns in the various areas. You have MP and councillor get money from scammer. So back in the 20 years ago, you have like one gun, you rely on an MP getting money. That's no longer the case. This was then. That was 20 years ago. Now, the MP rely on the scamming and the extortionists to fund them campaign. Put on treat and act like you provide for the community out of the ill-gotten gain. That's just as Mr. Rattigan said, we lose control. We lose control totally. The gangs run the place. Where there's this behind Haiti. We are far from Haiti right now.
Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir.
You as a Jamaican, take off your political hat. Don't put on your political hat. As a Jamaican citizen, sir, what keep you up at night, sir?
Oh, I know.
Hold on there. When you hear of the rampant killing and gunmanism in our country, where in less than 24 hours, 14 Jamaicans brutally murdered by the hands of gun?
Well, I know where the guns come from. I know there are only two gangs in Jamaica. One other and Klansman. You have a number of every area of a gang. The gangs are designed just like how the political parties are designed. You have PNP and JLP, the two main parties. And they have branches and they have groups. So does one other and Klansman. The gun that shoot a man in Kingston is the same gun that can shoot a man in Montego Bay, but a different hand. Because the most of the money, do you know the cost? You know what it costs to get a gun from a gang, from one other Klansman?
No, sir.
Well, it's 50% of what you rob. And that's the first rule. 50% of what you rob must go back with the gun. And must go back with the gun. And if you don't care about the gun and loot, you're dead. That is the rule of one order and Klansman.
So do you, Mr. Williams, where do you see this beloved country of ours going? The land of wood and water, the lush greenery. Where do you see Jamaica going?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I'm in my 70s and I'm not leaving Jamaica. But every person that I talk to who is under 35, I tell them leave Jamaica. And I say to you, and I say to all your family, and I say to the PNP, and I say to GLP, and I say to anybody that wants to listen. I don't say, unless we change the system, unless we get rid of Alibaba, and Alibaba don't mean PNP, or don't mean GLP, it means both of them. Until we get rid of the PNP. And when the PNP is in power, it is PNGLP. Right? Until we get rid of those two organizations in Jamaica, Jamaica not going nowhere. I will die here and they will burn my body, or I'll donate it to UW because we produce some good doctors. But I am telling every person, and I tell my family, I have 2 sons and 2 of them live in America. And I have a daughter and she lives in America. I have 1 son who is dead. And I have another son out here, 7-year-old. And as soon as him can get away from his mother, him gone to America too. Because I don't see no future for this country under the GLP or the PNP.
You know, Mr. Williams, I am privy to a lot of things. I was in there's a thing on Twitter that called Space. And I have a lot of young people over there who, for some reason, have the utmost respect for me. Because of the way how I may talk to them and so forth. And there's a lot of Jamaicans who are on it. And they said to me, Mr. Tavares, we don't see no way out. We have to leave Jamaica. We have to leave Jamaica. Jamaica has, the Mr. Tavares, we reach a point in our country. The young ladies are afraid to walk.
Yes.
The young men, they're afraid of, because they do not know if they're going to meet up and somebody want to put a gun in their hand. They don't know what to do. And all you can hear is the Prime Minister opening house. The cut ribbon.
Yes.
The Minister of, hello, on the back with me, the Minister of National Insecurity and Injustice, dumb. And the Commissioner of Police, twiddly dumb. It's full-time whistle, enough is enough. And I say to my fellow Jamaicans, it is full-time we stop the PNP and the JLP bangarang in this country. It's not taking us nowhere. When you have the young people leaving the education institution and don't have a job, all they can give them is the mental slavery of call centers. But they're not getting the pay. They put them in modern day slavery, like how they put the poor farm workers in modern day slavery in Canada. And Carl Samuda is saying that not Nagasa. The time has come, Jamaicans, that we must stand up for a fundamental right. I told some Chinese people a couple months ago, you know, and my good friend from Cayman is watching, Dr. Ebanks. He taught me this. I come to Jamaica by labor plane, not by aeroplane. Jamaica is my rock. But we stand by and allow politicians who all they come around and say, Mama love you, Prince Andrew love you. Do they truly love Jamaica? Prime Minister Andrew Holness, you want to vex with me tonight? I don't really give a damn. Do you truly love the country that you're governing? Dr. Harris Chang, do you truly love the country that you're the Minister of National Security for? Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson, do you truly love the members of the JCF and the people of Jamaica? Mark Jefferson Golding, do you truly love the people of Jamaica? Or you all love the power and the hype? When are we going to live in a country that is crime-free? You all crazy the gang man and the damn man is in the country. I know you can't do nothing about it. But when you don't want to win an election, you tell people a bunch of damn lies, but I can come see when the door open. The time has come, Jamaicans. We can't put a PNP and a JLP in front of us. The country is going down a slippery slope. We are knocking behind Haiti's back door. Why we can't resume hanging in the country and hang who fi hang? Hang who to hang? To hell with human rights. For far too long, people have been gunned down in our country. What has been done about it? Gun amnesty? For what? To do what? Is it solving Jamaica's crime problem? When the diaspora giving the Minister of National Security help, him no want help, he want the money. For do what? And members of the JCF is being gunned down. Commissioner Anthony Anderson and Minister of National Security without bulletproof vest. Why didn't you tell the nation, Commissioner Anderson, that a member of the JCF who was gunned down the other day in front of the police station wasn't wearing a bulletproof vest because they don't have any bulletproof vests to give them? Wilfred Rattigan, take over.
Yes, Jeffrey, I see
I'm sick and
passionate as
tired of this
usual.
damn nonsense, man. You're paying these people and what they're doing for us. They live into a bubble. I can't hear when Commissioner when the Minister of National Security is driving. We we.
No, look, to my brethren who just send me a little message there about my guests. Well, come on, for sure. I'm gonna make everybody know when this person will come on and drop the bombshell, you know, because I'm telling you, this information with this man is very explosive. And what I like about this man is that I see him in pretty much in the same vein that I see myself. Fearless and unbiased and objective. And him not care. He's a Jamaican true and true. And him just going just drop some bombs and whatever happened just happened, you know what I mean? Because him not afraid. Him just going to say what him have to say. And him have evidence to prove it. You know, some things have been revealed to me, but I'd much rather have him reveal them to all of you, because coming from me, it would be secondhand, and I don't want that. I want it to come directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak. But Jeffrey, I understand your passion, because you know, and you have to keep beating the drum, because I've never given up hope, and I will never give up hope about Jamaica turning the curve. It's almost like turning a battleship. You know, it's not the same thing as turning a speedboat or a jet ski. It take time. So you have to be patient, and you have to understand that what you're doing is that you're re-educating people, and you're informing them on a level that they haven't been informed before, or not recently. And so it's going to take time, but we have time. We have time. Like the FBI used to tell me all the time. They used to tell me, say, listen, you never chase a criminal one-on-one. I'm saying no, because keep in mind that criminal, that's how he makes his living. That's his being. He's a criminal. So I'm going to commit another crime and you will catch him. So you know, if you run him, chase him around a corner, you run him, go down a corner, and he might be in the corner, you run right round and him shooting at the face or something like that. You know? So we have time, Jeffrey. We have time. We just have to have a steady drumbeat going. And believe me, people are hearkening to the message right now, unlike before. And we will get there. We will get there, my brother.
You know, I don't apologize anyone for being a Jamaican. I don't apologize to no one for my passion. I may have a name that everybody is saying must have respect and whatever. To hell with that. I have friends and family. And my heart grieves every day. I used to come and cuss the JCF. I wasn't aware of the members of the JCF was being given the things that they're supposed to be given. The bulletproof vest, the uniform. They are being paid $70,000 a month. While members of parliament is being paid how much $1,000?
Jamaican.
70,000 Jamaican a month. Huh? How long must we live in this? The People's National Party led by P.J. Patterson run this country for 18 livelong years. And from that time, they hold the JCF members their money. Huh?
Let me just depress you a little bit more, please. I don't know when the program will finish, but I have to leave shortly. But let me just give you another piece of information.
It's soon finished, sir. It's soon finished.
The education report came out for June 2022. 30% of the children leaving school in 2022 cannot read and write.
What was that percentage?
30%. 30.
All right.
Another 50% cannot reason. That make it 80%.
And you have a minister of education. Jeffrey, shut your mouth. You have a minister of education who, so help me almighty God. Why don't I move her?
It's not she fault. From 1982, from 1981, I've been talking to the GLP about the bogus 3 R's. You know what the 3 R's are?
Go ahead and elaborate. Tell us about it, sir.
Reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Cannot be reading, writing, and arithmetic. Cannot.
That is the 3 R's that they teach the children in Jamaica. And I tell them, from 1981, I told Siaga, the real 3 R's are reading, reasoning, and respect. You teach early childhood children from 2.5, make it compulsory. Make early child education compulsory from 1981. I've been preaching this. When
look, Michael, listen.
Of spokesperson, I sit him down in my living room. After I did him a big favor, me and Captain Rupert Francis did him the biggest favor him could ever get in his life in 1997.
Who that was?
What?
Who that was?
Andrew Holness.
Okay.
Rupert Francis and myself gave him the biggest favor. We gave him the seat that he had lost in West Central St. Andrew. We gave it back to him.
Hold on there. Hold on. You're saying to me,
yes,
that Andrew Michael Holness lost his seat. To who?
Yes. He lost his seat on the first round to the man.
Patrick Roberts.
No man. Doctor, the man J. Trey, man.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Warren Blake.
Warren Blake, yes.
Yeah, Warren Blake. Yeah.
In 1997, he lost his seat to Warren Blake. Warren Blake was sworn into Parliament. And Rupert and myself wrote 2 affidavits for him that Abe Dabdoo took to the Electoral Commission and overturn the area that we were in, Taylor Basic School. Because Taylor Basic School was voted out by the PNP, and we were in charge of that polling station for Andrew Holness. And after I done write my affidavit, and Rupert write his, when Abe Abdul take it to the judge, and the judge read the two affidavit, him overturn the election at Taylor Basic School immediately. And it was run over. And that is how Andrew Holness gets into Parliament.
Don't treat Rupert, sir.
Well, him treat me worse.
Well, don't treat the two of us, sir.
Well, all I ask him for is to fix early child education when he become the Minister of Education. That's all I ask him for. I say to him in my living room, him come and visit me in my living room. And I said,
They're punishing easy. They're punishing easy. When they want the voting, man, they walk hills and valley and take off all them boot
right?
and cross the river of Nile.
Well, what the first time PJ Patterson raid the housing trust. The
You
very
rape it, I mean.
raid, R-A-D-E, raid it in our
They rape it.
All right, okay, you can call it rape. He took out $5 billion. And you know where he put it? He put it in early child education under a woman named Dr. Sams Vaughn. And that money was go up in smoke. And then I tell Andrew Holness this, as the spokesperson for education, after I win him seat in 1997, and they make him the spokesperson for education. I said to him, you have to get rid of Sams Vaughn when you get in, and put in a good person who can push early child education. You know what him did for him 5 years? Him keep Sams Vaughn. And him promote himself. And that is how he become. Well, he was fortunate because the US government fired Bruce Golden. You ever know that?
The PNP set up Bruce doing.
I said
Slide mangoes, your name gone abroad.
I said the US government fired Bruce Golden. And you know why?
Yeah, why?
Because he had the audacity to give a speech in Jamaica.
I remember the speech.
That human rights don't begin in Ligani. And that was the worst thing you could have said.
But he went on to say also, Mr. Williams, that the Jamaican Constitution knows about Ligani either.
Well, okay.
He said that.
Him can say anything he want. When the US government send a piece of the file where them have on him for him to read and say, come to Washington. Right? And when he was Prime Minister, the president invited him to Washington and he said he can't go because he have to go to bird bush. He fly to Paraguay for a shoot birds, so he can't go to Washington. Every single thing them just put it in a file and I said to him, listen, come. Because you can't stay no longer. Either we're going to disclose that we will send you, or you're going to pack your bags and go. That is how Bruce Golden lose the work.
Well, him pack for him bags and go. The Commissioner of Police and the Minister of National Security and Justice must pack their bags and go. We're going to wrap up this right now. Wilfred Rattigan, what you have to say before we go? Are you not to pack no bag and go nowhere?
No, man. That's a reflect on the piece where Mike just did about the education, Ministry of Education, reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? Well, we always say that children are our future, but as I've said many times before, that's an incomplete statement. Future what? Children are our future what? And that what, based on the trajectory of education in Jamaica, downward actually in Jamaica, is that children are our future criminals.
That's right.
And our future done smart.
Yes.
Our future done smart.
Oh,
At the rate that we're going right now, you know, I watched that woman give a performance at a town hall meeting at Jamaica College about
What
several
woman?
months ago. That lady, that minister, I watched her give a performance, and I'm telling you, it was
painful.
it was painful to watch, because every time she got asked a question, the PM had to jump in and kind of answer and had to answer for her because she couldn't answer the question. Or there's another person from the ministry who would have to jump up and answer the question. It was clear that this woman is there's no depth there. She's out of her league.
Yes.
She's
She had drowned right now. She had drowned. I mean, that performance, anybody who has, if you doubt me, or if you have doubts about this minister and you've never watched that performance, go to YouTube and watch her performance at Jamaica College a few months ago.
Yeah, man.
You will see what I'm talking about.
I was there. I saw it.
You saw it. Go.
She called
Right? Because I wanted to ask the Prime Minister about the same thing that I just tell you. And them wouldn't allow me to talk.
Well, I watched that thing. I watched that thing, and after that, I listened to a couple of. Yeah, I watched her performance there, and then I listened to a couple of news items concerning her with the media, and I'm telling you, I'm not impressed. In fact, I'm depressed when I listen to her, because she has no idea what she's doing. No idea what she's doing. In fact, the question I want to ask her, you know, there's a who was it? There was the head girl for Arden High School. Ask her a question about teachers leaving, right? And when I'm going to about it and stuff like that. And she struggled. She couldn't answer the question. The question I want to ask her is that, listen.
But Rattigan, you remember what I'm gonna say, but you remember when you were on my program and she came on? When Owen did get a hold of, she came on.
Yeah, well, you tell me to ask her no question, or you tell me to ask her nothing.
But I said to her, Minister, the teachers are leaving education institution. What are you gonna do about it? And they're being underpaid. You are the servant of the people of you're the servant of the teachers and the people of this country. Why can't you go to the Ministry of Finance and lobby to them for higher wages for the teachers? The woman said to me that she not coming to the public domain with that.
Yeah, she said two different ministries, and she not see it as her place for do where you ask her for do. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean,
before we go, we have the chairman of the St. Thomas Crime Prevention Unit, the great-great-grandson of Marcus Garvey or Paul Bogle. Which one of them again?
Paul Bogle.
Paul Bogle. Mr. Clark, unmute your mic, sir, and say a few words because we're going off here now. Are you gonna lead a rebellion from Morant Bay to Stony Gut?
Listen,
no,
I am much wiser than my great-great-grandfather here. You know, George William God never did nothing. He was only guilty by association. And another man them the big thing because them Pabo tell them say it's only food them they give him. So I'm a much smarter person. I lead a verbal rebellion. You know, I will take it to the people and let the people be informed as to what is happening and what needs to be done. I must commend you on this show tonight. I was hearing bits and pieces. I was traveling, and as you know, St. Thomas them says at the back of the coast, so we have poor internet and poor road. But so I know you're talking about the amnesty, and I like the terminology that Mr. Williams, I think his name is, gave about me, myself, and I. And that's exactly how it is, and I love how he broke it down. And The truth is, I don't think this amnesty makes any sense or is going to achieve anything major. I think it's a wrong precedent they're setting. They came out there, they was talking about 500,000 with gun and 250 and, you know, what message are you sending to the gun? But yet you're not policing the port. If you can spend that money to buy a gun from a man in an amnesty, they could have put that same money and buy some boats and patrol the ports of entry. But I think they also need to lobby the United States, one of the biggest supplier of weapons to Jamaica, that they need to be checking what's coming to Jamaica. If they don't want to check with nobody else, any container ship coming to Jamaica, they need to check that. I think they need to do that. And I think we need to move that motion into high gear, because what is coming here, you know, I heard a terminology something.
Or what the family, sorry to cut you off, what the family of the slain people should do. Mr. Rattigan can answer this question. Can the family in Jamaica sue the gun manufacturers in the United States? Unmute your mic, Mr. Rattigan.
Mr. Rattigan can take up the case.
Mr. Rattigan, unmute your mic, sir.
I don't think he's close to this.
Yes, Mr. Rattigan.
I can tell you.
Can Jamaicans sue the gun manufacturers in the United States?
No, they can't. Because the gun manufacturer never sell them no gun.
No, hold on, Mr. Williams. Mr. Rattigan, you hearing us? Wilfred Rattigan, are you hearing us? Mr. Rattigan? I don't know what's going on. It looks like they want Rattigan talk tonight.
In that freeze.
No,
Well, I'm seeing him dancing up and down. Well, we're not getting Mr. Rattigan, so we're gonna
Mind your Zoom hacking, Mr. Tavares.
No, they want hack it, then hack it. Can't do me nothing. Wilfred Rattigan, you hearing us? I don't know what's going on, not hearing us at all. Well, we have lost Mr. Rattigan. We're only seeing him going in and out as if, you know, the Jamaican CIA hacking system. Or is the TADS transported anyway? Jeffrey shut him out. We are coming to the end of this program where Jamaica's Gun Amnesty. We have with us Mr. Michael Williams, chairman of the National Democratic Movement, Dudley Thompson, senior journalist, Wilfred Rattigan, former FBI agent and attorney at law, and Mr. Mercer Clark, chairman of the Crime Prevention Unit in St. Thomas, the great-great-grandson of Paul Bogle, who lead a rebellion. Mr. Williams, your final word before we go, sir, because we can't lead a rebellion in the night, yeah?
We can sow the seed, though. And that's what we're doing, we're sowing the seed.
Yes, your final word before we go, sir.
Yes, sir. I want to thank you very much for having me on the program and listening to my views. I think it's a great opportunity to let the people of Jamaica and the diaspora know what is happening in Jamaica and to open their eyes and to ask them, as you have asked them many times, to think independent of jail, PNP. Thank you very much, sir. And it was a very good time that I spent with you. And all the best.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Please don't go as yet. Wilfred Rattigan, you hearing us now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
It seems that they hack you from Jamaica, man. You know what you talk. Mine don't want transport sector hacking because the transport sector anyway. Jeffrey shut him out.
That's par for the course.
Your final word before we go. Jamaica's Gun Amnesty.
Shouldn't you ask him the question now, though?
Yes. Oh, Mr. Rattigan, can the Jamaican people whose families been gunned down by guns that comes from the United States, if we can prove it come from the United States, can the people in Jamaica sue the gun manufacturers in America?
It's going to be difficult. And I'll tell you why. First of all, you have the element of proof. Because, you know, some of these guns are coming in from Haiti, they're coming in from some other, you know, Caribbean countries, Central American countries. It's going to be difficult to prove that they actually came directly from the US to Jamaica. Now, even if you can prove that, the gun manufacturers, one of the basic defenses they're going to have is that, look, the guns were legally sold in America. Once they're legally sold, we have no control over what people do with guns that they've bought. And by the way, they're going to say that we didn't sell the guns directly to these people. We sold them to a retailer, or we sold them to a middleman who sold them to a retailer, to a gun store, and then they purchased them. Also, don't forget the loophole, the gun show loophole, especially in the southern part of the United States, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, Texas, where you can actually go to a gun show and you can buy a gun without going through all the hoops that you have to go through if you buy it from a gun dealer, right? So their argument is going to be, hey, look, we sold the guns legally in the United States. Now, if people want to take those guns and transport them outside the United States illegally to another country, we have no control over that. And I mean, if you think about it logically, it makes sense. It makes sense. If I'm selling a product and I sell it to you, once I sell that product to you, you know, I've lost control over it. It's yours. And so you can do whatever you want to do with it. You can do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do with it. And it's hard to hold me responsible for that. So I think it's an uphill battle. You might find a court, a liberal court, that might say yes, you know, they should be held responsible. But I think on appeal, it's going to be difficult, you know, on appeal. I think it's going to be difficult.
Your final word, Mr. Rattigan, before you go.
Yeah, it's abundantly clear to me that the JCF, the leadership, has no idea what they're doing. It's a rudderless ship. It's just going with the tide. They have no control over it. They cannot protect the Jamaican people, and that's a sad state, because they tell you that they come up with all these mantras. You know, the JCF is a force for good. The JCF, you know, we serve and we protect and we reassure. And then you always must ask yourself the question: what, why, where, whom, and when. And once you start asking those basic questions, you realize that they have no idea what they're doing. None whatsoever. I can give you 40 reasons or 40 options how the JCF can improve its image and improve its effectiveness. But they're not going to listen to me because it's not in their interest. It's not in their interest because the way things set up, once me start talking, if they ever put me in control. And by the way, people say that you know, me I cry over spilled milk and me never get the job and me not this and me not that. First thing is this, is that at this point in my life, I don't want that job. What I want is, I want them to put somebody who's qualified, who came up within the ranks of the JCF and they understand the JCF. I want them to put that person there. Now, I would be willing to assist that person in whatever way I can. But in terms of having that job, I've gone past it. And one of the things about maturity and life is that sometimes you have to realize when the time comes and it's gone. And my time for that particular job came and went. So I have no interest in that job, but I have an interest in the security of the people of Jamaica. And therefore, I will work with them to ensure that criminal activity is kept to a tolerable level, because you simply cannot have a crime-free Jamaica. But you can curb the crime to the rate where it's tolerable and where people feel safe. So this amnesty thing is a farce. It's not going to work. It's not intended to take criminals off the streets or take illegal weapons off the streets. It's designed to take illegal weapons from people who have them in a closet and a drawer, people who, you know, they didn't renew the permit, people who grandfather dead left a gun, get them on. Those are not the guns killing people. I can assure you And the real criminals, they're not going to turn in the weapons for fear that even if they wanted to, they don't know how many murders were committed by that gun, and now they'll be charged with it. So this whole thing is just another PR ploy to distract the public and make people think that, oh, they're doing something about crime, but they're not doing it. They're not doing anything about crime. And the reason why they're not doing anything about crime is because they don't have leadership with foresight. They don't have leadership with skill. They don't have leadership with experience. They don't have leadership with know-how. One of the things that they should be doing, I'm going to talk wholly tonight on your program, Jeff. One of the things that they should be doing is that they should be forging relationships with countries that have similar crime problems to say, okay, how are you dealing with your crime problem? Far too often, and I've seen it, they go on study tour to America and then bring back an American solution that will not work with the Jamaican experience, right? And then bring it back and try shoe on it, and it no work. And after a few tries, them give up and abandon it. I can't begin to tell you when I was with the FBI how many times I said Jamaican officers come up and come NYPD or to the FBI for study tour, to understand technology and understand strategies and techniques and try to bring it back to Jamaica. One of the things that they did in New York was they went to NYPD to look at their crime stat, which is, you know, how you look at crime and how you hold the leaders responsible. And them not do that in Jamaica. Another thing is that them send people and get training. The people them come back, and what happens? They get very, especially with technology, private industry suck them up, right? And they don't have a plan a continuation plan. Like say, okay, when you come back, you're going to have to serve 3 years because we invest in you. So you're going to have to serve 3 years, and you're going to have to go help develop the next set of technical people. Them don't do any of that. And like I'm telling you, when you read stuff that they put out on paper, the things read very well. But when you look at implementation, my brother, that's where them fall down flat on them face. And then along with that, you say, okay, where is the money? Because we know to get money. So where's the money? And nobody can talk about where the money goes. Now, what I did in South Africa when I was there last week and the week before was that I have a source in South Africa who's able to do certain things in Jamaica. And that man is going to review certain things that is public information in Jamaica. He's going to review it, and based on his expertise, he's going to let me know where the money went and who took the money and all that stuff. So stand by for that. When that initiative.
Hold on a minute, Mr. Rattigan. Hold on a minute. You mean the donor funds that is being given to the JCF every year?
Well, that's a separate issue. The one we're talking about now is the one where bills are tabled, right? And they come to Ministry of Finance. And we want, so what happens is that they submit all of these things and say, okay, this is what we're going to pay. This is what we're going to purchase. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be looking at all of those things. And this man is an expert in that field. And he's going to let me know exactly where the money went. Plus, we have investigators here in the US who are looking at some of these things as well. So my words to the politicians in Jamaica is be very careful. We'll not go sleep well again, because we have some different man. So we have some different sentry guards. We have some different people on the beat now. We have some people now who have the skill sets now to dig up stuff and ask the right questions and reveal certain things. And so that is what we plan for this. So them not have no more, when you ask them now how you sleep, they're going to say not well. They're not going to say me sleep and me sleep well, because what happens is that them know, so we are look at them right now. Them know. And them know that we already have information on some of them already. We already have the information. It's just a matter that we will reveal it at a certain time. And like I said, on my program, I'm bringing this gentleman, you know him very well. I'm bringing this gentleman, and this gentleman is going to talk about a whole bunch of money transfers and who did what, who went where, and where the money is. Because him know where the money there now. This man know where the money there, right? And him is just one of the few people, just a select few people who are do this. He's one of them, and him know where the money there. him know the skeletons and buried, and him going to come and him going to talk. And in fact, because my program is on a Tuesday night, I don't have any problems with him coming on your program and busting out the whole thing Tuesday morning, and then just come finish it off on my program Tuesday night. So
I don't mind.
stay tuned.
I have to speak to my senior journalist and my producer, Owen and Dudley Thompson. Owen Brown and Dudley Thompson. I don't mind. And as a matter of fact, we can do a simulcast broadcast in the evening when you're going on.
Yeah, we want to do it and do it through a radio station in Jamaica so that we can get the whole nation to listen. Right?
see,
To listen for this man start, because this one was a senior intelligence analyst. So him see all of the documents, them, him see all of the file, and him know where I'm going. And this man going to connect all the dots. So when him finish, even somebody who didn't go to school can understand exactly what's going on, because he's going to break it down in simple, everyday language. So you're listening on, you should stay tuned for that.
Viewers who are watching my YouTube channel, both on Facebook and YouTube, I think we're live on Twitter, stand by for a bangarang.
A word of caution. A word
Because-
of caution.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
The laws of libel and slander in Jamaica is far different from the United States of America. Meaning, what you can get away with on a radio station in America, you cannot get away with it in Jamaica.
I
Yeah,
know.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Brad Williams. Truth is a complete defense in Jamaica and in America. So once you say, A did this, and you have the proof, and you have the witness, and you have maybe documents showing it, that's it.
Okay, sir.
And even if we don't go live on a radio station in Jamaica, go live on the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. We'll be here.
That is
We
more
can
like
simulcast and do it. So all who subscribe, you can like, share, and subscribe, because Wilfred Rattigan.
And the other thing too is that we not gonna give the whole thing, so whoever wants to for live and whatever, then we just bust out the recite after that. So we not give everything one time. We just a little piece, and you what now? Them know, you know. Them know, so when we get a piece, them know say only like 20% of what we know we are get. So them not gonna reel up and carry on, because they don't want the other 80% come out. Because when the other 80% come out, you know what we are asked for now? We are asked now for a complete investigation and for people to be arrested and come face American justice. That's what we are going to ask for. And we are asked for people's visa to be revoked. And we are asked for them property in America to be subject to seizure based on certain things. And forfeiture.
no, you're talking.
Okay.
Dudley Thompson, your final word before we go.
Wow, this is like another bombshell.
Yes.
Well, I'm hoping that if you look at the Caribbean in terms of crime, open one day we can take a look at Grenada and what Grenada went through in 1983 with Maurice and Bishop.
Yes.
And today, Grenada is seen as one of the lowest crime rate in the Caribbean, alongside Montserrat and St. Kitts. So how could Grenada recover from such an event to be crime-free today? We went through a big deal 1980, but we keep getting worse. So we need to look at the model of Grenada and see what they did and how they are now almost crime-free. Grenada don't have an army right now, and the police force don't carry guns.
Dudley, I tell you what, Dudley, you see the guest who me I talk about, and Jeffrey know him quite well.
Yes.
This man is an expert with about crime
In the
in the
Caribbean.
Caribbean. So
All right.
stay tuned when him come on. Stay tuned when him come on. And I would like you
Yes,
come on
man,
from
I
the
will.
program
I
and
will.
ask him questions. And he will give the answer about all of the Grenada and the St. Kitts and the Nevis and the Barbuda and the Trinidad and the Barbados. And he will tell you about all that. He will tell you everything we are going there.
But the main topic,
That
but
is
the
his
main topic
area
is
of
Jamaica.
expertise. Because this man I work for a think tank out of Washington, believe it or not, sponsored by the US government.
All right, I will.
Okay.
gentle people, I must say thanks to Michael Williams, chairman of the National Democratic Movement, Dudley Thompson, senior journalist, Wilfred Rattigan, former FBI agent attorney at law, the great-great-grandson of Paul Bogle, leading a rebellion in St. Thomas, Mr. Mercer Clark. Jamaicans, this is where I say so long from you, but before I go, I have to give you this. The time has come. You hear the PNB talk about time has come? The time has come, my fellow Jamaicans, whether in the diaspora or whether in Jamaica, we need to stand up and speak out about the rampant brutality, the rampant killing of our fellow Jamaicans by gunmen, where they have become a clear and present danger to the national security of the citizens of Jamaica. We must ask ourselves the question, are we knocking behind Haiti's back door? Or are we on Lover's Leaf ready to drop over? The biggest drug bust in the history of Jamaica. Not a word from the Minister of National Security and the Commissioner of Police mouth. What is going on? Is the gun amnesty Jamaica's crime plan? Local government election is coming up. What are they going to tell us? Jamaicans, wake up. The People's National Party had a conference a couple months ago. And I can name the 3 best speech in that conference. Was the former minister, the former leader of the People's National Party, Peter Phillips, Damian Crawford, and Gabriella Morrison, or Morris. The leader of the party hasn't said anything about Jamaica's crime problem. The People's National Party has no clue, just like the Labour Party, to solve Jamaica's crime pandemic. It is leave up to us Jamaicans. And the more we speak out about the rampant corruption in our country, people in the outside world will listen to us and render help. Do not let Jamaica become like Haiti. The people of Haiti are suffering because of the hands of politicians, of bad governing. And I say to my fellow Jamaicans tonight, from Negril Point to Moran Point, from Cornwall, Middlesex, and Surrey, this is what I leave with you all. May God bless you. May God bless Jamaica land we love. And this is the song I leave with you. And the words of this song, please mute your mic, everyone. The words of this song says it all.
My island don't sell out.
Remember your teachers them now. Remember your nurses them now. Remember your doctors them now. My island don't sell out. My island don't sell out. Please don't sell out. Remember your farmers them now. Remember your workers them now. Remember your neighbors them now. My island don't sell out. Please don't sell out. My island don't sell out. Remember your people them now. Remember the masses.
Bluetooth connected.
I'm a of His Majesty. So therefore, I can see my Highland don't salute. Please don't salute. My Highland don't salute. My Highland don't salute. Please don't salute. My Highland don't salute. Remember your teachers, them now. Remember your nurses, them now. Remember your doctors, them now. My Highland don't sell out. No, 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 no. My Highland don't sell out. Please don't sell out. Remember your farmers, them now. Remember your workers, them now. Remember your neighbors, them now. My Highland don't sell out.
Make we talk. Do not own the copyrights to this song.
My Highland don't sell out.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. This is where we say so long from here. I am Jeffrey Tavares saying thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Send this out. Is Jamaica knocking behind Haiti's back door? Is the gun amnesty the only crime plan that Jamaica has? My island don't sell out.
So therefore I can see my Highland don't sell out. Please don't sell out. My Highland don't sell out. Oh, no, 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 no. My Highland don't sell out.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Stand up for what we believe in. Stand up for Jamaica land we love. Is the gun amnesty Jamaica's crime plan? Until you hear my voice again, I'm Jeffrey Tavares saying, may God bless you. May God bless Jamaica land we love.